for having us. This one goes out to all the commanders out there. It's called victory. I hope y'all like it. 1, 2, 3, let's kick it.
And good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, everyone. Welcome and thanks for stopping by and joining me as we revisit my topic that I certainly did not think was going to be controversial, but apparently was. So I will talk a little bit about what we'll do tonight, but I wanted to do some testing and see if we could put what I consider another fallacy around turrets to bed and show some actual real life gameplay around it. So let's first start with, well, actually, let's first very quickly just have Discord give a quick shout out so we can get some audio. Thank you, Iron. Discord, can you guys say something real quick just to make sure I've got audio from you guys?
Testing. Hello, YouTube.
Great,
Check
great.
1, 2, 3.
If you guys would confirm for me during the stream if there's volume differences between me and them, sometimes there is. I'll keep the game audio relatively low just so we're not shouting over that or anything. But so what we're going to do tonight is again kind of dive into the video I put out. Wow, it's been 6 days. It's hard to believe it's been that long.
Check.
Yeah, I do a lot of debating, Barry, so I love fallacies. The video I put out that I kind of did on a whim because I've said this for a really long time, and made comments here and there. I thought, certainly for new players, let's go ahead and make this and even just put some data behind it, dispel a little bit between amongst people that might be using these, is to point out the fact, and I'm going to pretty much call it a fact, is what we'll see tonight, that turrets are hot garbage. So to start with that, I'm going to show a little bit, we won't play the video or anything, but let me show a little bit of the charts that I put together when I did the original video, right? So the first one here you'll see is, this is average damage across all weapons. And what you'll notice in all of the charts that I actually didn't realize the numbers were as close as they are. Rudy, thank you very much for the support, my friend. I really appreciate that. With the donation like that, if you would reach out to me on Discord, Rudy, I'd love to get you access to our members channel and such like that. If you've got any questions, give you a hand. But thank you. That's very, very generous of you. And so back to where I was. So is when you look at the weapons damage, let's go down a little bit to, for example, multi-cannons here. In a lot of the weapons, beam lasers being the notable exceptions, a large turret, which is what you see here in the light blue, is the same damage, and these are all damage per shot because it's hard to calculate damage per second, different weapon types and stuff. So I just did a damage per shot. This is the same, the large turret is the same damage as a medium fixed. It's that big of a damage penalty. And now, while I want to be clear, and in what we're going to do tonight, we're going to be using a little bit of fix with rails, but that's it. It's not. I tried to bring this up in the video. It's not necessarily about get good. It really isn't, because the difference in using gimbals and turrets is really pretty damn minor. Okay, and so you can be very effective with gimbals, and tonight we're going to be flying, and most of you guys, if you know me, know I'm not a big ship guy, but we're going to fly the Type 10 and the Cutter, because I heard a lot of comments around both of those, and the notion that, well, turrets are going to give me more time on target, or if I set them to fire at will, I'm going to tag more enemies, and because of that, I'm going to earn more per hour, right? So in a conflict zone, or bounty hunting, or whatever it might be. Well, given the massive damage differences, and specifically when we go to the Cutter, since there is no huge turret, so we have to run a large on the huge, right? So the massive damage penalty, essentially that means that huge hard point is doing the damage output of a medium fixed. Right? We're losing that much damage. And for most of tonight, we're going to be focused on multi-cannons, just because, again, very easy to use. So what we're going to look at is in all builds, the builds are exactly the same. The weapons are engineered exactly the same. The only difference is between turrets and gimbals. Okay? So if we look quickly, and let me paste in a couple of these things for you guys. Here are the charts that I'm looking at, if you'd like to put it that. And by the way, welcome back, Twitch. I'm glad to finally be streaming on Twitch. I got my account sorted out. Did you tell them to just get good? No, that's exactly the opposite of what I just said, Neofire. I'm not saying that, in fact, because this is not about getting good, because they're that easy to use. So let's look at the different builds. This is the Type 10 with turrets that I'm going to be running. This is the Type 10, and I'm just going to paste all this in right up front, so anybody watching this later has all of this right at the beginning. Here are the gimbal build, and now let's look at the Cutter. Let's look at the turreted Cutter right here, and then for YouTube, and then the gimbal cutter. And the cutter being one of my definite, personally least favorite combat ships to fly, just my biases. And so if we look at those builds, right, so the build links, you're going to see everything exactly the same between them, except for the fact that, like we see here, all turrets versus all gimbaled. If we look at the top and we look at the DPS of these, the gimbaled build for the Type 10, 216 DPS, the turret build, 180. Right? So not a huge drop there, and that's kind of because we're running, I've got a pack hound rack and a couple railguns, right? If we remove those, so let's take those off real quick just to make it a apples to apples with just the difference in turrets. There we go. We're looking now at a DPS of 97 for gimbals and a DPS of 60 for turrets. So again, a roughly 35% damage drop. We see the exact same thing in the cutter, but we're going to see an even bigger drop. Again, in the cutter, let me get rid of these two railguns for the purposes of this. And so because specifically with turrets, we've got to run a large on the huge, we've got a DPS of 47 versus a DPS of 83. So almost double the damage. Okay, so now then you might be thinking, and some of the comments I saw from folks were, well, hey, but it's so hard to keep time on target in something like the Type 10 or the Cutter, right? And while it is certainly harder than an FDL or a Cobra or something like that, the notion that it is hard is simply not true. That's what we're going to illustrate here in just a second. The other thing to be clear that I think a lot of people don't understand about turrets is, especially when you're new or haven't used them a lot or haven't really paid attention, is you don't realize the amount of jitter that's in turrets and the amount of time they're missing the target. Okay, so just because you've got turrets and just because they contract does not by any way mean that you have 100% time on target. And I just realized something I should have said right off the bat, which is we're talking about using these weapons for alpha, for primary damage. What turrets are very good at, because there are a few things, is, and I, again, covered in the video, as I see it, jokingly, there's 4 good ways to use turrets. Number 1, you're using them to apply an experimental effect. And in my opinion, this is the best use of them. So a single turreted, high capacity, multi-cannon with corrosive, right? You only need to land the corrosive every 5 seconds, and that has to be on hull, but you only have to land it every 5 seconds for the debuff to stay active. So on something like, let's say, a Corvette, a single, small, high capacity, turreted, corrosive multi-cannon, great use of that hard point. Right, because you can constantly apply that experimental. There are several examples of this. Scramble spectrum burst laser and pulse lasers. That causes malfunctions when you strike hull, random module malfunctions. There's force shell that knocks your enemy around. It's really obnoxious if they're, not so much against NPCs, but definitely against humans if they're using FA off. There's drag drives on frag cannons that essentially removes all pips out of engines for a 5-second period. Guys in Discord, other examples I'm not thinking of experimentals that would be great for turrets? What others would you guys throw out? And this isn't necessarily meant to be exhaustive, just... And Optional Zero, I hope you keep watching because, in my opinion, gimbals are significantly more fun than turrets because I define fun as flying the ship and targeting something and keeping myself in front of it, which is not difficult, not pulling a trigger and sitting still and letting the ship fire for me. Now, if you find that fun, that's a very subjective thing, great, right? Then in my case, the goal would be to just illustrate the massive amount of damage and what that translates into, and let me show you this chart, because I did these tests that we're about to do right now, into credits per hour, or in my case, it was until I ran dry, right? So I'm all turreted, all multi-cannons, except for, again, a couple rails and a pack-hound rack. So all multi-cannons, all with long range, which does work really well on these slow ships, okay? So, you don't have any damage fall off. As long as you're on target and landing your shots, you're getting your full damage. And also, let's remember that turrets have half the range of a gimbal multi-cannon. So in these cases, at full long range grade 5, which these all are, so I engineered a ton of modules for the weapons for this. It was pretty rough to go engineer 6 turreted multi-cannons. They only have a 4-kilometer range where the gimbals have an 8-kilometer range. And now certainly you're not going to land a whole lot of shots maybe not even past 4, but certainly not past 6, and way out to 8, little bit silly, right? But you're not going to, you still can land shots at that range, okay? So what I did earlier and what we're going to do tonight is I went to the conflict zone with a gimbal loadout and a turret loadout and fired until all my weapons were empty, and then looked at what my earning was when I used the turreted setup. I had it set for fire at will. So literally, the thermal vent, there's another great one. Absolutely, that's a good one. I had it set to fire at will, which means any enemy that's in range, whether or not you've targeted and started firing at them, it will shoot at. Because I heard a lot of people who said, oh, but if you use fire at will, now you're tagging all these enemies. And even if you don't, and this is true, even if you don't kill them when they die, as long as you've shot them once, you get the credit for that. And that is great, right? Absolutely great way to go if you're in a conflict zone or a resource extraction site, whatever. Making sure you get one shot on target is critical. But if you look here in the Type 10, I literally made more than 3.5 times as much in this is earnings, right? And in the cutter, it was more than double, right? I didn't figure out the actual percentage, right? So when it relates to actually using the weapon, again, for combat as a primary weapon, I stand by my statement that turrets are hot garbage. We talked about using them for experimental effects. I think that is the best use of them. The one clarification I would make, the one place where they are effective for primary damage would be for AX weapons, okay? Because there is no gimbaled AX weapon. They're only turreted and fixed. And for example, especially the non-Guardian ones, so the AX multi-cannons and the AX missiles are both rather difficult to use fixed. So especially the AX multi-cannon, using that in, to farm Thargoid scouts, absolutely great. That's what I would do. Again, if I wasn't using the Guardian weapons, and if you're into Thargoids, just as an aside, you absolutely want the Guardian Gauss cannon. It's essentially a Guardian railgun. It's fantastic. If you're even remotely serious about it, that's what you want. But for scouts, using a Crate Mark II with 3 large turreted AX multi-cannons, great setup. Third place would be multi-crew, and if Aposto gets his shit together. For those of you that I'm curious, actually, we'll do a quick poll if you guys can shout out real quick. Is who of anybody had trouble with the update today? So Aposto isn't able to update. He's hopefully downloading a new version of the launcher and trying that, but he wasn't able to update. I didn't have any trouble, so I'm curious if anybody else in chat is having any trouble. We'll show multi-crew. So I kind of made the joke, if you're the 7 or 8 people in the game that actually use multi-crew, of course, that's fine use for it. I personally don't use multi-crew very much. The main reason is with the inability to mix wings and multi-crew, which I think is the single biggest oversight and what crushes the feature. Without that feature, anytime I want to use multi-crew, I'm already in a wing anyway. And so it just doesn't work out, right? And while you don't have to be in a wing for playing together, for those that play together and play in wings, it makes things dramatically easier. So, and then as a joke, and I made sure I cleared this joke with Jerry to make sure that I certainly wasn't making fun of his disability, but for someone with a disability. So like our friend Jerry, if you guys have seen the video, Jerry's the disabled gamer I had joined me about 6 or so months ago, who literally pilots the game via voice. And what I mean is he says, pitch up 0.2, roll right 0.3, throttle 50%, and absolutely can pilot his ship, and did an on-stream landing. In fact, if one of the moderators could find that link and share that video with everybody, that'd be awesome. I just about get chills and almost teared up the night he did it. It's so damn impressive. So Jerry basically has not ALS, a version of muscular dystrophy, and I can't remember exactly the name of it. Forgive me if Jerry's watching. Forgive me, my friend. But essentially, the only thing he can move is his right thumb. And while he can pilot, he's a little joystick there, and while he can pilot a little bit with that, he gets pretty tired pretty quickly. And so for him, the only real way to do combat is to let his weapons fire for him. Okay? So again, those are the cases I feel like are quote-unquote the right use of turrets. Again, if you're choosing the playstyle, if you find one thing fun or another, great. That's subjective. You do you do what makes you happy, right? I just want to make sure that when I'm teaching things and explaining things to folks, that I'm teaching you, those that have known me for a long time, the most effective, most efficient way to do things. When it comes to combat, Elite is a combat game to me. That's what I love about Elite. So I'm always going to use what I feel like works for me as the most effective combat, right? So in something like a Type 10, you're almost certainly not going to use fixed weapons. The hard point placement being way out on the edges, it just does not work. I mean, you could kind of put maybe a couple PAs on the right side and aim with just the right, but that is you got to get good. That is really difficult, right? The cutter, I don't fly the cutter much, but lots of people fly the cutter with, I don't know, all fixed for the cutter pilots in Discord, or a mix of gimbaled and fixed. Like I know huge, like a PA on the huge works really well. What comments, anybody? I see most people are muted. Cement, Aposto, you guys have any thoughts on that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I know that people use a lot of fixed on the
Anytime you
cutter.
get a chance to run huge fixed is good.
Yeah, exactly.
On the cutter, the it's like the clipper too, or anything where you have that huge difference, like the ones that are on the engine tips, right?
Right, exactly.
Those ones I would put probably turreted there, or gimbaled. Of course, I think gimbaled is better than turrets, but.
And because if we look on the Type 10, let me just show really quickly. Because we've got the hard points so spaced out, right? You notice like there's the large over there on the far right. You've got the mediums a little inboard from that. Another large over here. You've then got a large down below. Large on the other side down below, another medium in the center. They're all so spread out that getting your reticle to line up is almost impossible. The two smalls up front, sorry, I'm not trying to make you guys dizzy. The two smalls that you see up front are great for railguns, right? So they're right there in the middle, very easy to converge those two, those two and be able to target things and even hit them at pretty short ranges. I always like having feedback cascade. For those that aren't familiar with, feedback cascade is an effect that cancels cell banks, and you get a lot of NPCs that just cell bank over and over and over. They essentially have unlimited cell bank, and being able to cancel that, especially if you're not fully engineered and you're having a hard time just damaging through it, can be a really, really nice thing to have. So I personally am always going to have a feedback rail. I might also bring a super penetrator rail. That's a rail that would cut through a ship and take out modules. But now, again, we've got to be a lot more precise with our sub-targeting, and we're getting into get good territory, which I want to stay away from tonight, as that is not the goal here. Okay? Elite Dangerous is updating. What did they do? There was a patch today, some minor bug fixes, some changes to mining. I don't know exactly. I haven't gotten to spend a whole lot of time looking at the patch notes. Were very, very minor. Okay, so I'm in a conflict zone. And if anybody from Brotherhood is watching, I am actually going to pick HFR Corp because we are going to fail this conflict zone, and I'm just going to basically fire until I run empty, which means I'm not going to win it, and I don't want to affect Brotherhood's BGS, so we're just gonna fight for the other team. So that's why, if anybody's wondering. Okay, so this is the turreted build. So let's go over to ship and set for fire at will, meaning they're just going to engage as they want. So basically this is straight up easy mode. All I have to do is pilot. And there's one pretty big key to this, and that is flight assist off. For those that don't really fly much flight assist off, this is the time to do it. When you're in open space, in a big ship like this, you just want to let the ship, for lack of a better word, let the ship go where it goes. Okay, so let's look for, my weapons have already opened fire, right? So now we're just going to talk while we run out of ammo. And I'll try to pay attention to the chat. If the moderators, if you guys, I haven't been able to look at chat for the last couple minutes. So if you guys are seeing stuff that I'm missing and can shout it out, that'd be great.
No problem. Yeah. Keep an eye out.
Because it'll be pretty easy. Certainly with the turrets, it'll be pretty easy to chat. And what I will do with the turrets is I am going to keep myself on target with the rails, right? So even right here with the rails, all right, cancel his cell bank. All right, there we go. And now because the multi-cannons are all firing at different... I actually might switch off of fire at will, because the problem with fire at will is your weapons don't focus a single target. So since you're firing at so many different things at once, it's kind of tough to, to take out a single target, because you're spreading your fire everywhere. And actually talk about that real quick. The 3 different modes. There's fire at will, forward fire. So fire at will, like I said before, literally just fires at anything in range. You don't have to pull the trigger. You don't have to do anything. Just any enemy in range, it starts firing it at. Forward fire makes them act like fixed weapon, or like gimbaled weapons, right? Where you pick the target, you pull the trigger, you hold the trigger, and as you're firing, let's get on this target. You just you basically are doing, the work just like you would normally do. Then target only lets you select a target, and then once that target is selected, you pull the trigger once, and when that target is in range, with that target focused, like you see right now, only that target you're firing at. That is generally what I use. And for the purposes of this, because we'll run out of ammo faster if I do this, we're going to stay this way, because it will take so much longer if we do fire at will. I tested both earlier, and fire at will was so much quicker. I mean, this was so much quicker. And so we want to be active with our pips. We want to be staying in range. Turn and keep him in front of me. And notice, like when I turned just then, that my turrets lost lock, right? So when he screams by me, my turrets aren't going to track fast enough to necessarily stay on target that whole time. By the way, if the moderators, I'm sure they'll in a second, post in the Discord invite. It should be down in the description of both YouTube and Twitch. If you'd like to come join us in Discord and chat and ask questions, since it's a little hard for me to pay attention to fly and to watch chat. If you've got questions and would like to come join Discord and chat with us, by all means, come jump in.
We're just getting a few comments about stuttering. I'm seeing a little bit of stuttering too. It looks like both
you know
Twitch
what?
and
Just when I
YouTube
glanced
are
over,
doing
I
it.
saw that Streamlabs was kind of stuttering. I don't know that at this point. Let me just double check that there's anything I can do about it. We had this problem last week, and I tested it earlier today and didn't have any problems. So I was hoping we wouldn't.
Twitch and YouTube are both pretty bad right now.
The only thing I can do is stop the stream and restart it. Okay, I'm gonna try that real quick, guys. So give me
I can
just a quick
confirm.
sec.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'll be. All right, we're back.
Your voice in Discord
Let's see.
was flipping
There's
pretty
nothing I
hard
can
while
do.
you were streaming.
There's a problem with Discord. That's totally separate.
Okay.
No, I'm seeing it jerky as hell again. All right, I'm gonna try. All right, let's try. Dude, it's when OBS is in focus, it's great, but as soon as it goes out of focus, it goes to shit.
What if you increase
That's what
the
it is.
priority on OBS?
That's exactly what I'm
and
about to do.
it's
That's exactly what I'm about to do. Sorry about this, guys. Give me a second here. Why is it not letting me? I don't know that I can. It's weird. It's just, actually, in fact, it's as soon as I click in and focus Elite, OBS goes to shit. Hold on, let me do this. Let me lock Elite to 60 frames a second. Ah, there we go. There we go. That might have done it. It's looking much smoother on my end. Okay, sorry about that, guys.
You sound much better too.
Forgive me, everybody. Let me know if that has made an improvement on the stream.
Night and day so far.
Yeah. Also, your voice
Okay.
is way better.
Okay.
Like
I
your
Yeah,
think
voice
the
everything-
voice
is
is.
better.
I think the
yeah,
voice
everything's
would
better.
Yeah, it
be.
took care of the
lot.
voice
Yeah,
on
okay.
both ends,
You
on all
matched
three
your
of them.
frame rate to your OBS, didn't you?
I didn't. No, I didn't change the frame rate in OBS. The only thing I just did was lock Elite to 60 frames per second.
Yeah, you locked your frame rate in Elite to OBS at 60.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
'Cause you were
Yes.
144 before, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. But you know what? But when maybe I had that set on the old machine, but I don't think so. Regardless, forgive me for that, everybody. Let me. Okay, great. I'm seeing everybody saying it looks good now.
Yep, you're awesome now.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. There's one other thing I would maybe change because for now I won't because I'm using CPU encoding right now instead of GPU encoding. But I'll figure that out for the next stream. Not critical. If it's
You're
smooth,
and Jappa's right. Your voice even sounds better.
I think that's. I would guess that's just.
And it's a quinky
Coincidental.
dink, but
Yeah.
just to let you know.
But hey, right? Happy to see that too. So,
Right, exactly. We'll take it.
Exactly. So again, you notice like he just got out of range at 5 kilometers. So I'm right. Normally my long range weapons, I would be able to hit him at this range. I'll wait till he comes back into 4-kilometer range. But for most, I wouldn't advise firing at that range anyway. Assuming everybody, I shouldn't assume, everybody understands what damage fall off is. So all weapons, except for cannons, unengineered, have damage fall off, meaning after most of them it's 500 or 800 meters, you start getting a percentage of the damage falling off to, all the way out to their max range of 3 kilometers. They're barely doing anything. So with most weapons, if your target's beyond 2 kilometers, don't even bother. Kind of if it's beyond 1.5 kilometers or so, you want to get into a better habit of firing on things when they are much closer. One of the nice benefits of long range and focused as well is it removes that damage fall off. Oops, should have waited till got him while his shields were up. Notice I'm going for the small stuff too. We're going to, in fact, you know what? Let's do this. I tend to get pretty far away from the center. Let's get back over here and make sure we've got some bigger bounties. And since we're going to weapons empty, I figured that way, if there's like this, if we did it on a time basis, right now we wouldn't be shooting anybody, so we wouldn't be earning any credits. But we're going to go to... For those that are familiar and have watched me stream before, you know that I'm a big fan of using pip macros. And so you'll see me popping my pips back and forth very quickly. I have a video that covers pip macros. If that's something you're not doing, if you're just leaving your pips at 222, or even worse, something like 1, 2.5, or things like that. Don't. One of the biggest thing that sets high skill, and not that I'm calling myself high skill, but high skill pilots away from beginner pilots is very active pit management, and that you're constantly changing them. In a PvP fight, I'm probably changing my pips every 5 or 6 seconds. Or a Thargoid fight, like it really is that active. You can be a little lazier, and I'm kind of being lazy right now just for ease because this thing's got massive shields, of using 240. Another quick thing about shields, 4 pips in shields gives you 2.6 times stronger shields than 0 pips. Right, so if you're running a shield build, like I'm in a prismatic build right now, you want to be 4 pips in system, or minimum 2 pips in systems at all times, whenever you're under fire. Right, if you're not under fire, that's when you can take those pips out and get some, put some in another distributor. That's why you'll see me bouncing a lot between. Right there, I went 240, so I need my engines right now. Now I'm back in weapons. I don't need full weapons because the distro draw from turrets is lower. That is a slight side benefit of them. For those that are curious and maybe don't know, I do fly stick and throttle HOTAS controls with pedals. So, that definitely makes some aiming in Elite a little trickier with fixed weapons. You'll see a lot of little movements with my pedals right here. A lot of times I will pop FA on real quick to steady myself for a railgun shot. Is there anybody big around? Ah, there we go, Chieftain or Crusader. I like having a pack hound rack or a missile rack when I'm doing. Whoops, and there I missed having pips and weapons. I like having a missile rack generally so I can aggro targets at range if they're, if they're kind of getting away from me a bit.
Hey, Exegius, you might want to
Yeah.
holler out at Malik. He just rated you with 84.
Oh, hey Malik, thanks guys. Welcome everybody. I don't have the Twitch chat open. Let me switch over to chat. I could only keep one of the windows. You know what? Hold on. Let me split them actually and do that. Now I've got them both open. The benefits of having a giant window. So yeah, welcome. Thank you, Malik, and welcome everybody. Saw that he was streaming earlier. Wasn't sure what time. I thought he streamed. I actually thought Malik streamed earlier in the day.
I thought he did too.
For those that maybe just joined on Twitch, there's some links that you might scroll back in the chat. Actually, do you see old chat messages when you join Twitch, or do you just see from where you joined?
No, you do not.
Okay. I'll paste in a second. So we're essentially discussing a video I put out a few days ago where I thought this wouldn't be controversial and called turrets hot garbage and got a fair bit of controversial comments and arguments. So we're doing some testing there with the exact same builds in a Type 10 and a cutter, showing essentially firing my weapons until everything's empty to show what we can earn per a conflict zone for each group of weapons. Give me a second and I'll paste in those. Hey, one benefit, I can let it fly itself right now. There we go. Come here, baby. This was the video for the Twitch folks. Aposto, I'm going to post the builds, and moderators or anybody that can help out. Moderators are the ones who can post links. I'm going to post the build links and the chart in the live stream channel in Discord. There you go. And for those that also just joined on Twitch, if you would like to come chat with us in Discord, ask questions, feel free. The links should be down in the kind of description section, whatever you want to call that in Twitch. So by all means, stop in. Pack-hound fun. Now, why am I not firing pack-hounds right here? If I remember right, the arming distance on them is 400 meters. So you don't want to fire any kind of missile under 400 meters or you won't do any damage with it. Already run one weapon empty. And you see, in my opinion, I'm not really having any trouble keeping targets in front of me, even with the Type 10. Oop, where did my... go? It's not showing on stream. Okay. One trick you'll see me do too, I chose a sub target, and the only reason I chose a sub target is so it would give me, let me show you. So right now, it's kind of hard to see exactly where it is without running night vision. I just kind of don't like night vision. It is a good use of it though, but if I pick one sub target, you see I get a little sub target reticle there, and as I discussed in the video, there's a concept called microgambling that at range will help me lock on to that one little spot. So I like using just a single sub-target, don't really care what it is in this case. Now you might sub-target something specifically like, a power plant or, something like that to go after that. But in this case, I'm just using it to help me aim better. The input visualizer you're seeing, essentially I kind of worked on it and had it custom created. So I actually have a video that covers how to use it, and people are actually welcome to use it. It's an app called GamepadViewer.com that reads joystick inputs, and then it's skinnable. And so Commander Metzes, who created my logo and a lot of the art for my channel, worked with me to help design the look of it, and then I worked with the developer of Gamepad Viewer. Oops, shit. forgetting pips and weapons, of Gamepad Viewer to to lay it out this way. To be clear, it does not show on my screen. It only shows on stream. So you would only be able to use it through Streamlabs or something like that. It's actually 3 web pages that stack on top of each other, one for the stick, throttle, and pedals, respectively. And so it's very complicated to use. Let me just put it that way. I do have a tutorial that goes through the whole thing of how to use it. And I think Mal for the Win is still using it. I know he was the first and maybe only one that started using it when I first developed it, but that's what it is. And I wanted it or created it for exactly a situation like this, so you can see exactly what I'm doing while I'm piloting. I actually got the idea originally from Vindicator Jones. I think it was Vindicator. He had a little thing that would show just his thruster control, and I thought, oh, that's kind of neat. How would we do, how would we show everything? I love pack hounds. For those that don't know, pack hounds are let me get some distance and I'll show you what they look like. They're pretty slick. They're a drunk missile. They fire 4 bursts, a burst of 4 little drunk missiles that, as you see, take a drunk trajectory to the target. They're incredibly OP. Point defense can't take them out. The only thing really that can is ECM, and nothing really uses ECM. They're so OP that they are banned in consensual PvP, but they're a ton of fun. They're a power play module, which actually one of my other rants that I generally go on. If anybody listening right now is not pledged to someone, and that's over here under Galactic Powers. If you're not pledged to somebody, you are just wasting time. Get pledged. It takes a month to unlock one of the modules. There are 12 different modules. If you have at least 500 million, you probably want to pledge to Aisling Duvall, the hot blue-headed chick. If you have under that, you might choose pack hounds, one of my favorites, which is Leon Ree. I have videos that cover all the modules, and once you've pledged, how to earn your merits, which is what you need to actually unlock them. All right, guys, we're getting pretty close to running out of ammo here. I think I've only got the bottom. Got to keep my bottom to the target. Okay, there we go. He's down. Let's head back to the center. Yeah, sir. Ooh, Saltimus, if I'm reading that right. Yeah, you're more than welcome. The only thing I ask, and again, there's a video on the channel that covers it. The only thing I ask is that if any stream you use it on, that's somewhere in the description, somewhere in the comments, there's just a credit, just a link to my channel, and that you got it from me. That's all I ask. Because I did actually pay to have it designed, so. But so long as you'll give me that shout, you're welcome to use it. I am flying FA off. I see Miller on YouTube was asking something about that. Did you have a specific question about that? The biggest, and I think FA off works when you're new to it. It is absolutely easiest to use on the big class ships. I don't fly full FA off when I'm flying, say, an FDL or a small class ship. I toggle, so I go FA off when I get ready to turn. But with the big ships, trying to stay ahead of your target, pre-turning on it, and flying FA off is very critical to flying them well. And yep, just as Delcides, if I'm saying that right, forgive me, exactly. Every now and then, I'll go FA on, steady myself for a railgun shot, which I just missed, and like, oops, waiting, and fire, and then I'll go FA off again, or sometimes if I can, like I missed that one, I could kind of land them if I'm FA off, but I'm not so great at that. All right, we're getting... We've only got 2 cannons left here. We'll go for a little bit longer. We might not go all the way to dry just for time reasons. Let's see if we can take this asp out. Moderators, if somebody could post the ship build links into Twitch, I'd really appreciate that. Glad I got Twitch set up for tonight.
Sorry, what did you want to put in Twitch?
The ship build links that I put in the live streaming chat channel.
Yep, I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
for the 4 builds. So I'm trying to kind of pre-turn and stay with him. And the biggest way I can describe using FA off in the big ships is you want to just let the thing float. You want to just go with it. It's much easier to do in a in open space like this versus a resource extraction site where if I was doing that right now, I would be pinballing off of the rocks like something crazy. I don't, Miller. So when I'm in FA off, I fly with the exact same controls. I have the Warthog stick and throttle. So on my right hand, there's a big kind of pull trigger grip thing that I use as the toggle. I used to do it for pull and hold, but as I flew more and more FA off, I just use it as a toggle now. But it's really big, really easy to get to. Yeah, and forgive me, chat. I'm doing my best to try to pay attention while I'm flying. So if you've got a question that either somebody else in chat didn't answer or I didn't answer, at me or at say Aposto. Jaffo's here. Iron is not in voice, but he's watching, I think. But yeah, Jaffo or Aposto, you can at them if you've got a question that you want to make sure I get my eyes on.
Hey, Exegius,
Yes,
I have
sir.
a question about your overlay.
Yeah.
Did you post it to GitHub?
Yeah, well, in fact, yes and no. So the actual files of the overlay, yes, are in GitHub, and that's how it works. But I didn't really post it to GitHub maybe it's kind of public. Maybe, to be honest with you, I can't remember. It's so long ago.
Well, I go through the Elite Dangerous GitHub pretty often, and
Uh-huh.
when you said the overlay, it clicked, and it's in there public. I just found
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
It's
Okay. And it's, I mean, that's the instruction in the video show you how to use the files in GitHub, right?
Yeah.
What's really complicated about it is you have to go through and essentially bind things and say like this button is chaff, this button is heat sink, that kind of thing, so that because it's not reading the game. All it's doing is if I press like right now, I'm going to press chaff and I'm going to press chaff again and I'm going to press chaff again. Well, the game's not responding to that, but the overlay is acting like it is, right? So it's fairly simple in that regard. You're welcome, Captain Richard. Thank you for watching, man. Yeah, piglets. If I'm reading that right, I don't know. These turrets are this weird thing, aren't they? Like I said, I did not think I knew a few people would, in my opinion, not get it, but I did not expect to have the. I didn't expect that video that took me a couple hours to do better than the graphics video that took me 50 or 60. Please go watch that video. It was a lot of work. And yes, for those who are wondering, I will absolutely do an updated version of it once Odyssey releases, since we expect so many changes. Okay, I think we're going to kill this guy, and then, well, even if we can kill this guy with the limited amount of ammo we have left, and then we're going to head back, since we've pretty much fired ourselves empty. Let's use the last of our rails. And there we go. I'm steadying myself with FA on. And I'm forgetting to put pips in weapons because I'm reading chat flying at the same time. Yeah, and I say this a lot, probably said it earlier, but in my opinion, the single biggest thing that you can do to improve your combat skills is very active pip management. So if you're just sitting still with your pips, if you're just being lazy about it, or if you're just thinking, my shields are super strong, I don't care, right? And you want to up your game, if you want to get good, that is one of the easiest ways to build a skill. Takes a good bit of practice. It's not overly difficult though, and it really is what separates the men from the boys when it comes to combat. Some guys can do it really quickly without using macros. On a stick, for me to go things like that while I'm piloting. I just can't do it. So and I've got these on a hat at my left finger on my throttle so that I can just very, very quickly cycle between them. Okay, you know what? With that, given that we've got like 60 rounds left, we're not going to kill anybody with 60 rounds. Let's see if anybody's like almost dead. Maybe we'll get one last kill in. Oh, here we go. Oh, wait, that's on our team. That's our guys. Yep, nobody almost dead. Okay, so let's stow hard points. Let's see what we earned. And 338 grand. Actually, that's better than I was expecting. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump out. And let's go get some gimbals. Oh, I was using the 10th hard point. Don't worry. For those that might not know, the 10th hard point is your hull. Or I think Flintlock called it the Class 8 hard point. He was doing that with a cutter, though. Once again, if you guys would like to come chat with us in Discord, you're welcome to. We're in the live streaming channel, so just pop in, find a rare opportunity where I'm not actually talking, and jump in and say hi. Stream quality good for everybody now? No issues now?
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'm gonna assume silence implies consent.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've got you up in the back.
Apparently we lost Aposto, huh? Storm?
He just broke out to a channel for a minute.
Oh, we'll be lazy and let it auto dock. Oh, actually, you know what? No, we won't. Let's not look like it.
Yeah, loud and clear. It looks good.
Okay.
Also.
Yeah, and there was a question I don't remember you answering. But Neil Free asked you if you think EXO is going to stay with the game if they don't release VR on Odyssey. I don't know if he means EXO the Squadron or if he's just doing shorthand for Exegius. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You know, in fact,
Neo Fire. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. In the next probably week, I will have a video coming out with my thoughts on VR around Elite. Needless to say, I am extremely concerned about it. It comes down to how they implement it. I'm very worried that the way they're going to do it is like kind of the difference between base Elite and Horizons, where you're going to get to a planet that has an atmosphere or to walk around on, and you hit some sort of exclusion zone, and you have to exit Horizons and log into Odyssey, and now you're in 2D mode, fly down and do whatever, and then you've got to exit again and exit to desktop and log back in. And if that happens, or we also can't fly around the gorgeous atmospheric planets, because I do think so far what we've seen looks great. If we can't fly around those in VR, yeah, I'm not going to say right now that, yeah, I'm deleting my channel or deleting my save, but that would almost be the nail in my coffin. Because because what keeps me in Elite is VR. It always has been. Okay, so I'm just noting real quick that we earned 253. This is after, I'm just tracking this number after the 25% that gets taken off the top that I actually get paid anyway. But so we earned 253 this time, so we're gonna redeem that. And now let's go get ourselves some gimbals.
Also, I didn't mean to correct you. I'm Neofire, so.
Oh, hey, Neo. Okay, yeah, gotcha. No worries, no worries.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Blizzard, no, I don't think I've done. I've covered some engineering around missiles and stuff, but not specifically kind of what you're asking. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, pack hounds are great. They're only really terrible or not effective or not allowed in consensual PvP. For anything other than that, I use them. I think they're just fun. I think they look cool. They're highly effective. And what's great about them, and Seekers for that matter, is they do so much splash damage and this is why they're not allowed in consensual PvP, because they will just nuke your weapons without you sub-targeting or doing anything, right? So they're so incredibly easy mode that's why.
Exegius, may I ask a question?
Absolutely not.
To missiles.
Yeah. What you got? Yeah, which question?
The question pertaining to his question about missiles.
Yeah.
I've had some experience in engineering them. What was it that he was asking?
Oh, I think he just asked, did I have a video that was comparing them? That's all.
Okay, other than that, I just wanted to go and ask you directly because I guess Jaffa was busy handling multiple stream questions.
Yeah, sure. What you got?
I'm in a Blue Shift Paradigm Rayet All-Star system
Okay.
in one of the NGC nebulas. I posted a couple images in your guys' image video channel and on Inara. I just was asking if you wanted to do a photo finish on your channel just as a potential beauty shot if you want to. I can do a crew invite if you wish.
No, I'm not right now. Maybe at the very end of the stream, sure. But I've still got a bit to go. But yeah, when I get to the end, remind me, and sure, we can show that. I don't know that I've actually personally been to a Wolf Rayet anyway. And a Pasto can get
rare ones that goes to a blue-purple shift and cancels out any and all color.
So this is going to be opportunity for you to use your signature line there, Exegius. But Alexander Corbin says, "What is Elite like in VR?"
You sure you don't want to answer that one, Storm?
No, I know what the answer is. But no, it's your line. I'm just setting it up for you.
The joke that I make that Storm is alluding to.
You coined the phrase, right?
Yeah, is that Elite in 2D, like we're playing right now, is a cool, at times very pretty space video game. Elite in VR, you are flying a fucking spaceship. It is absolutely that big a difference. You are not playing a game. You are not like, you are sitting in the cockpit of a fucking spaceship, flying a spaceship. It is, and there's several other VR players here in Discord with me. While that's maybe the slightest bit of exaggeration, it's really not that big of an exaggeration, is it, guys?
Somebody said in chat as well after the question that when you played in VR, it completely made it a whole new game.
Oh, it's yes, right.
Absolutely, the experience of flying a spaceship. Absolutely, dude. I mean, it is. You're
the
flying
scale, the perspective of things. Like, you have no idea how massive these ships are, how massive these stations are. I remember the first time I was on a planet, I was in the SRV in VR, and a guy landed a Type 9, and I looked over, and it was like an apartment building had just landed next to me. Right? It's just, it's so hard to convey without trying it. For those that have, a good cell phone, and maybe you get even just a simple Google Cardboard and stuff, there are apps. I've done a video on one called Airlight, another one called Riftcat, that both let you use a mobile phone as a VR headset. And while it's not a great way to play the game, it's a great, play it as in, that's going to be your main mode of playing. It's a great way to experience it, to kind of confirm for yourself that you want VR. To quickly answer the questions of which VR, there's in my opinion, there's 3 great headsets right now in the market. If you're going budget, there's the Oculus Quest, which is the room scale everywhere, yet sit down and plug into your PC and play PC titles. But then if you want to go play room scale stuff, Vader Immortal, things like that, it's essentially got a mobile chip in it. So the graphics aren't PC quality, but they're still really good, or certainly good enough for for VR type games like that. If you've got an unlimited budget and you care more about room scale than you care about seated, the Valve Index is great. Specifically, the controllers for it are absolutely the best controllers on the market right now. While the tracking on other headsets is in my opinion completely fine, arguably the tracking on the Index is the highest fidelity tracking. And then last, my personal favorite, and if you're playing the majority of time seated, or flight sims, racing sims, things like that, you want the HP Reverb, or what is just coming out very, very soon. It's available for pre-order right now, the HP Reverb, the G2 rather. Full disclosure, HP did give me my Reverb back when it launched as an eval unit and to check out and stuff. But I'm free to obviously say what I want to about it, and I say that If they hadn't given it to me, I'd have bought one. It's the big difference in the reverb in all other headsets. All other headsets top out at about 650 ppi or pixels per inch, where the reverb is 1100. So it is dramatically higher resolution, where all other headsets have some level of screen door effect. Some of them it's a little better than others, like the Index is pretty good at it. The Rift S, which I'm honestly not a fan of at all. But the Quest has got a little bit of screen door effect. The Index essentially has none. It is like looking at a monitor. For me, that's the biggest immersion breaker. So that's why I find the reverb, and I'm very much looking forward to the G2 because they made some changes to the display type in it to make the screen door effect even less, but I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet. And the G2 is a pretty big upgrade. It's got new, much better controllers. It's got 4 camera tracking versus 2, a lot of things like that. I'm really looking forward to it. I've actually been hoping to have an evaluation unit of it for really a couple months now, and I'm thinking we're hopefully only a couple weeks away from it.
Probably the best reason to buy a 3080 or a 3090.
Sure. And that's the reason I'm excited to get a 3090.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing, like I know for all of us pancake vision people, though, Exegius.
Yeah.
You're talking about how you could feel like a lot of pancake people don't understand, like that dashboard right there in front of you when you're in VR. It's way out in front of you.
Oh yeah. It's a meter. It's probably 2-3 meters away, and it's probably 3 meters wide. I mean, it's that's one of the biggest things is you just don't get the scale of the game truly until you're in VR.
I did. Now, of course, this is a little high tech for some people don't want to mess with it. But if you go in and you mess with your FOV files, your XML files, and change your field of vision, you can push that because Elite stops at 90. You can literally push it out to a true 180, and you'll be able to see the back of your headrest. But that's too much. You can change that a little bit and get a little better sense in pancake mode of how big the ship is, because it will push the dash way out in front of you. So for people who want to test and see where they might be able to see how big the ships are with a flat screen, you can actually change that FOV in the XML files and push that dashboard out a little bit, and you can actually see a big difference in the game.
Yeah. And something to comment on that I just happened to see Ryan said on YouTube is, and this is definitely a big negative with the Quest and for future Oculus headsets, is that effectively, in a way, Oculus is no more, as now it's, really all been taken over by Facebook. The fact that you have to have a Facebook account now to even use any of the Oculus headsets. I'll admit that is a significant disadvantage. I mean, I do have a Facebook account, but I don't really enjoy Facebook because, I don't really need to hear what everybody's racist uncle has to say, so I kind of just stay off Facebook. That is a significant negative to what Oculus is doing.
One of the other new things that since Facebook acquired is that it's rumored, but it's that they will not be supporting reverb either.
What do you mean?
Well, right now, Oculus, you can use a reverb to play on Steam on your Vive, and so Facebook is talking about not supporting that, so you can't do that anymore.
So wait, I still don't get exactly what you mean. So using
wait,
hold on. Using an HTC headset to play Oculus games? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So right now I use Revive, right, to play Oculus games on my Vive Pro.
Right.
And that's because it supports OpenVR.
Right.
From Oculus. Yeah. The rumor is that the new now Facebook, Oculus will not be supporting Revive anymore.
Because they won't be supporting OpenVR.
Well, they're going to cheat, and last I heard, they were going to make it so the way Revive works is you set up an Oculus account, but you don't set up your headset, obviously, since you don't have one.
Right.
The new Facebook is going to make it so you can't play your games until it recognizes your headset.
Interesting. Okay, I had not heard that, so okay, gotcha.
Yeah, there's been debate about it, but we'll see where it goes. But I will tell you this, my Revive stopped working a week ago.
Interesting.
And I've had a hard time putting it back together.
Yeah, I'm definitely disappointed to see them make these changes because my first headset was the Rift S. I mean the Rift S, the Rift CV1, which I still think is one of the best headsets. I think it's the best physical design of any headset that's been. I'm sad to see them do this shit because I have been such a big Oculus fan over the years.
No, it's not just Facebook either. A lot of the headset providers, except for HP, because HP doesn't have a dog in the fight, but anything that's tied to any game platform or anything, they are talking about going. Basically, the VR systems are going to be exclusives like the consoles are. If it's released on the Facebook system, it's going to be released on Facebook, and it won't be playable on anything else. They're talking that's one thing they said that's possibly coming to the VR headsets and the next gen stuff is that it's going to be exclusives.
And that would
right, which they have somewhat now, right? I mean, Rift is currently, or Oculus was currently, paying studios to build Oculus only titles, right? Like a Vader Mortal is Oculus only, and I can't remember the other one. They've got a couple of Oculus only to build up their own pieces. But there was a cross that a public company made that would allow you to cross, and so from what I understand, they're going to start enforcing it now and blocking it. To your point, and so which is a shame because it would have been nice. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, any of this proprietary stuff
we've kicked that horse.
Yeah, any of this closed platform proprietary stuff is very, very sad to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been nice. It would have been nice to have had one game ecosystem not be like that. But
absolutely.
Well, and Microsoft is still an interesting player because with WMD, with WMR, we'll see where Microsoft goes. But if they actually turn their studio on and start making VR games, that'll also be interesting. They are in wait and see mode right now, but that could change it too because what's going to make a headset is going to be the titles that you can get on it.
Yep.
Right. There's a reason why Macs aren't gaming computers. There's no titles there.
Yep.
How strong of a PC do you need to run the VR?
So kind of the minimum GPU you're going to run is probably going to be like bare minimums like a 970 or a 1060. It depends on the headset. The Reverb's minimum is a 1080. And really these days, I think I'd probably say a 1070 is probably the realistic minimum that you want. And probably CPU, a 5000 series? 47, maybe I used to game on it. I used to play on a 4790 and that was fine. So it's really more about the GPU.
Well, I have a go ahead.
No, please. Go ahead, Sensei.
I have a 970 and I know that a lot of games that are supposed to be VR ready, when I install them, I do not get any VR support. Elite's the only one I get any support for with VR.
Yeah.
Right now, but I'm not a heavy VR player, so that my experiences may vary. So,
and you're certainly going to be playing at rather low settings. Like for example, I've got an overclock 2080 Ti liquid cooled, an overclock 10900K that's liquid cooled, and I can't just if I try to just do the VR Elite profile, I cannot get a locked even 60 frames per second, on my 2080 Ti, right? So a lot of people, the number of people I've seen is like, oh, well, I'm running a 1080 and I play in full Elite or full Ultra. I'm like, yeah, why don't you install something like FPS VR and see that you're actually only getting 45 frames per second pretty much everywhere. Right, people don't really because all of the headsets can what's called reproject and half their frame rates. So if you're looking for a locked frame rate, which to me is really, really critical in VR, you're going to be playing if you're running at 90 hertz, even on a 2080 Ti, you're going to be in medium-ish setting territory. I fortunately am pretty lucky that I can't feel the difference between 60 and 90 in VR. I know a lot of people can, and to be clear, I absolutely can see the difference between 60 and 144 on my monitor, but I just can't, as long as I get a solid 60, I can't really feel the difference. So I play in 60 hertz on my Reverb, and even at 60 frames per second, trying to get a locked, you're displaying two 2160 by 2160 displays at 60 frames a second. That's a lot of work for a GPU to do.
Well, you're also I think you're more of an edge case, just because you're running what isn't considered a gaming headset.
Kind
that's-
of, right? Yeah.
It's because so like most of the gaming headsets that are out right now
Are
a
much
20
lower
Ti,
resolution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So, okay, so again, just to kind of get back to what we're doing here, I think I hope it's pretty obvious from watching that my time on target, this is not really a challenge. Even the small ships, I haven't really had a hard time, staying in front of them, keeping them in front of me, staying on target, killing things quickly, and just the massive difference in damage output is where Gimbals shine, and I maintain that the turrets are hot garbage.
So Warlock Bobby says, any tips on how to fight VR's sickness? I got a Lenovo Explorer, and I can't take more than 30 minutes before I got to stop playing.
Probably the biggest thing would be checking your frame rate, and using something like FPS VR. It's like $3 in the Steam store, but running that, seeing what your actual frame rate is, because when it reprojects, you get these ghosting effects, and you kind of get like a blur. The easiest way to see if you're reprojecting is to nod your head up and down like you're saying yes, right? And if you do that really quickly and you see things blurring, you're reprojecting. And the reprojection tech on Windows MR, which is what the Lenovo Explorer is, and I've had that headset before, is the worst of the three, right? So especially in Windows MR, you want a locked frame rate. So if you can answer, what GPU are you running? Let's see what he says. Because depending on what GPU you're running, is where you would want to be running at, relatively low, low-ish settings, depending. You're probably running at much, much too high settings.
He hasn't answered yet.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd agree. And yeah, the short answer is lower your settings. Where I have a
5600 XT. Yes.
XT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Then honestly, with that,
settings.
I'd be running that, and I would start with the VR low preset, and then I would look at my graphics video that I put out recently that analyzes, each and every graphics setting to understand the ones where you can, where you should put them to lower settings. Like, for example, ambient occlusion, you might run with no ambient occlusion or low, certainly not above low. Bloom, you probably want on low. Volumetric lighting, you want on low, because the difference in quality between low and ultra is really small, but the performance impact is dramatic. Let's see, shadows is another one. You probably want to run with shadows off, because anything but ultra shadows just looks like shit anyway. I'm trying to think of what the other big ones would be.
Well, if there was only a video that explained all this.
Wait, say that again?
If there was only a video that explained all this.
If only there was. If only there was a 25-minute video that went in depth, setting by setting, that took me weeks and hours of work. If only, right?
Brian Hayward says 2070S here. That's a super.
2070 super.
What settings?
Which headset?
Yeah, which headset?
Anything that's in the reverb. Again, you check things, watch that video, but because there's a section that does recommended VR settings, but probably start with medium and then start bumping some things up. I'd probably do medium and maybe try like ultra shadows and see what you get away with.
Hey X, you've got a viewer in Twitch that's asking you to change sides. Apparently, you're working against him in BGS.
I'm failing all these, so it doesn't matter. So if you guys are watching, that's why I'm fighting the other side, is because I'm going to fail these. So I didn't want to fail if I picked Dark Wheel. So that's why I'm doing this, guys. At least that's what we decided at the outset would be the nicest way to not mess with your BGS efforts. Now, if you still want me to change sides for the next one, I absolutely will. But that's why I picked this.
Pretty sure I know who that is too.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but somebody was nice enough to reach out to me on Discord.
Brookstar, and I apologize if I said it wrong.
But yeah, again, clarify, because I'm not planning. I'm going to leave this and not finish it, so I'm going to fail it. And we assumed that would be a worse impact than, than if I did pick your side and failed it.
Oh, do you mean fail or not? Just not complete?
Not completing. Yeah.
Is
Yeah, as long as you jump out before the outcome, it'll be void.
it'd be a null. It'd be a null effect. Yeah, you won't get any
Yeah.
BGS with that.
Yeah. So again, if you want me to change, I will. But that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Now the BGS will count negative for all the ships killed, depending on what side you picked. But can't.
Yeah, but that's minor compared to the battle. But yeah,
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, because right now with the battle going on, both sides are locked influence wise. So that's it's not going to matter anyway. It won't count.
he says he don't know. He's going to test what
Okay.
negative does. But
Okay. Just let
and
me
if I
know.
pronounced his name wrong, I apologize. It's Frinjo Borkstar in Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very happy to do whatever you guys would like.
So Brian Hayward asks, does FPS work with the Rift S?
Absolutely.
I don't see
absolutely.
it listed in support.
Well, it's a Steam VR app, so you'd have to be playing through
Yep.
Steam VR, right? So if you're playing Elite directly to the headset, which you actually probably are, then no, you would have to. You would just have to either lift your headset, like hit Control F to turn on the frame rate counter, and just peer up under the headset. Maybe record your gameplay, something like that, to see. Because it is.
He's saying
it
what
is
you're
Steam
going to
VR.
do will be fine.
And
Okay.
it's a Steam VR, and you have to use You have to use the. It's a startup, so it's they call it desktop startup app. So it's one that starts up with Steam VR and runs.
You don't actually have to use it that way, Storm. I don't do it that way. I just launch it when I need it.
Right, or you could.
Yeah,
not launch
you
it.
can
could
do it
only
either
launch
way.
when you needed it.
Yeah.
Right, you could start it and then start your game.
Well, it
And
looks
on top
like
of that,
we're not
since-
going to have enough ammo to kill this last anaconda. Let's see if I can ram him to death.
And on top of that, since you're turning the combat bonds into your fleet carrier, that has no effect on BGS either. So
Yeah.
there's no because during a war and an election, turned in combat bonds will, because I can't remember what I got the math somewhere in my spreadsheets, but there is a certain amount of combat bonds that will equal a low, medium, or high ZZ turn in, but I can't remember what they are off the top of my head now.
Oh, I want to kill this last one.
Focus shields.
Got 66
Pretty
rounds
impressive.
left.
87.
It's pretty impressive to see what a 800 plus ton ship that barely moving will do to the hull.
Yeah, totally. Oh, whoops! I bumped my my cell bank button, and I'm out of heat sinks. That kind of hurts.
Apologies for the panic. I just tuned into the stream and sorry, that was me panicking.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Was it you that reached out to me earlier?
It is.
Yeah. Forget. So I should have explained better why I was doing it this way. A few of us were talking about it before the stream and thought that this was the best way to do it.
Yeah, no problem. I saw shooting at the dark circle and I immediately had a mini heart attack.
Totally fair. Oh, just missed him. I do want to kill this anaconda before we go.
Well, we won't mention that you could be working for them and trying to actually win things right now.
Oh, no,
too.
don't you jump out, you little bitch.
But he could inadvertently lose and cause just as much damage.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I just heard the jump animation. If he gets out, I'm going to be so... Did I get him? Did I get him? Yeah, there we go. Look at that. All right, sweet. Okay, so let's store and let's jump out.
And you're not even running the pure T10 Packhound build, that the GPU killer we call it.
Right. Okay, let's pick the carrier. And we'll go cash in and see. And then depending, I'm debating on, actually we'll ask you guys, would you guys like to see me do the same thing in the cutter, or?
Or is point proven?
Well, I'm purposely not looking at my left panel yet. I'm gonna wait till we land and go to cash in and see what the difference is with what I earned this time. Because I definitely earned more. That like I didn't earn like when this time with turrets I earned more than I did the last time. Not dramatically so, but a bit more. I keep spawning in at the bottom of my carrier.
It's been a non-stop panic the past few days, like trying to sort out the war effort, and then like strange carriers turn up and panic.
I was surprised that you pinged me so quick. I mean, you messaged me within an hour of me arriving in system.
Yeah, I was like monitoring it. Like I've messaged another person who owns the other carrier, and we like jumped in our 2 carriers to try and like scare him off. But then more carriers are turning up, and it's like, oh god.
What system is this again? I didn't even see.
Hyperlinkney.
I was gonna say I don't even remember. Right?
Yeah, it's a dark system. That's why I want it. Or why we want it, rather.
Sure.
Let me just make sure that's not in my expansion list anytime soon.
And this time we were actually pretty close, I got to admit. So this time we were it was 223 last time and 297 this time. So not as big a gap as I saw the first time I did this. And I'll admit that like the spawn rate, both of these fights was pretty low. Why don't we do the carrot? Let's do the cutter too. Let's see, this is the gimbal build. So let me store these. And yeah, if somebody's asking, I just saw a chat in Twitch from Torbosh. Generally, especially if you're unengineered, going to a high conflict zone by yourself is probably not the greatest idea, unless you want a very big challenge. Generally, that's something you would do in a wing. Oops, shit, I just messed up my Twitch page. There we go. Generally, that's something you would do in a wing, with friends or with a heavily engineered ship. I mean, this has got a Class 8 prismatic, all engineered shields, it's everything's fully engineered. So, okay, let's store all that.
Yeah, unless they're feeling to do Iron Man mode, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, if you want a real challenge, take an unengineered Sidewinder and go to a conflict zone. See how long you can last.
Put the name Dangerous back into Elite Dangerous.
Exactly. Okay, let's go for the cutter.
Do you have a video on conflict zone tips?
I do. I have a video on conflict zones, right? And so there's a bunch of stuff in it.
Then you can up the challenge one more step and pick a CZ that's backed by the Fed or the Imperials, so you get a cap ship in there.
Yep, absolutely. And I actually have a video that explains how to find capital ships. Like if you've never seen a capital ship, because that's another thing in VR. That now that we've got carriers, you can see carriers jump in and out, which is the same animation as capital ships. But man, when you're in the middle of a fight and all of a sudden your capital class signature detected, and you look over and the big giant, now we have the same thing. The big giant carrier animation, the big lightning storm and stuff. The audio, once again, Elite's audio just freaking shines. It really is something to see. I'd been playing for only. I'd only been playing a couple of weeks when I saw my first capital ship, and oh my god, I was just like, "Holy shit, what is this? Oh my god, what do I do? Do I stay?" Like I didn't know what was going to happen, and it was two. It was both a federal and an imperial, both fighting each other, which is one of the coolest things in the game to see. Yeah, what was the question?
You can't jump carriers into to help out conflict zone, right?
No. You can jump like me. I'm right next to where the conflict zone is, but that's as close as you can get.
Okay.
I wish we could do that. It would make this war a lot easier. Jump our two carriers in there.
Well, hey, carriers just in general have made war easier. Okay, or BGS easier. So let's now look at the cutter, where the biggest problem on the cutter is we've got this nice big huge where we would put this huge gimbal that if we look at is doing 22.1 damage per second. We, because there's no large or huge turret, have to go down to a large turreted, which is the damage of a fixed medium. So that's how big of a damage penalty that we have to take here. So we're down to literally double or half. 11.1 versus I think it was 22.1. So it is literally half the damage.
That still isn't the biggest problem with the coder. The biggest problem is all that gold plating.
Yeah, I just got black skins on all my stuff. Yeah, and audibly, somebody just said, Elite's a pretty game. Like, it's starting to get a little long in the tooth in terms of visuals, especially when you look at something like Star Citizen that, and not to start a big Star Citizen debate, but it really is gorgeous. But the audio in Elite is fucking fantastic. I've actually been asking the community guys for a while now. I need to bug them about it again to see if they would let me interview somebody from the audio team. I was a music major and a bit of musician my whole life, and music major in college, and so I think it'd be interesting to chat with them from from that perspective as well. Because I think I understood the guy that did the let me not forget the shield. The guy that did the music also is the one that works on and does a lot of the sound effects.
Did they ever release the soundtrack? For
I own it. I used that for a lot of my early videos. Let me point out something real quick, guys, that normally I would be doing if we weren't doing what we're specifically doing tonight, which is running probably a Class 6 shield cell bank and a Class 8 cargo rack, so that I can use my collector limpets to allow them to pick out materials while I'm doing this. Now, that said, this is not an effective way to farm materials. If you're doing this anyway, you're fighting in a war anyway, you're already there, sure. Bring collectors, bring a bunch of limpets, and grab it. But if you're after materials specifically, this is not an effective way to do it at all. I've got a video that's, in fact, while my shields are charging, let me find it really quickly, that covers finding all of the different material types. For anybody that engineers, it might be the most important video I've ever done. If I was a viewer of mine, it's the video I would go to the most, that covers all of the best ways to gather materials. Let me get that real quick. And there we go. No, not Heelys for Feelies. Like, Heelys for Feelies is way old thing and does not make, from a practical standpoint, in terms of grabbing materials and grabbing money, Heelys for Feelies makes no sense anymore. And for those that don't know, Heelys for Feelies is taking essentially 2 large class ships with a preferably huge gimbaled beam laser, point them at each other with regen, point them at each other, or make a triangle or a square where you're all healing each other. And then, this is a use of turrets, you have all long-range turrets, favorably pulse lasers, and you just let the turrets go to free fire at will and let them tag everything and slowly kill everything. And then you have collectors streaming out. You put a rubber band around your trigger, or set something on your mouse and walk away from your computer. And I guess, God, when did that first come out? Like 3 years ago? It was a long time ago. And now there are so much better ways to gather materials. There's a method in that video where easily you can get 100 grade 5, specifically Imperial shielding, and with a little bit of luck in about 20 minutes. With not much luck, about 30 minutes. That trades down to 16 of any other grade 5 material, or 300 grade 4s and 900 grade 3s. So if you're doing Dav's Hope doesn't make sense anymore. Again, if you're doing it from a sheer efficient, I need materials as fast as I can, I'm going to go work Elite. I don't give a shit about gameplay. I just want materials. That video covers the 3 methods. So high grade farming, the Crystal Shard locations to grab raw materials, and the Jameson crash site to get data. Those are by far the fastest 3 methods. None of them are fun. They all kind of suck. But if you just want efficient materials, it's by far the fastest way. Feely's part of it was kind of a bit of a joke that, like, the healing beams for Care Bears, and so you're healing your Feely, healing my Feely because you're all upset, that kind of thing. So it was a joke that I think Rensler came up with the term. Aposto, is that right? Or anybody else?
Yeah, that's right. Rensler is the one who did it, and then I think everyone else perpetuated it. Of course, Yamix made his funny videos about it, and everybody.
Yep.
So yeah,
it just kind of became almost like a meme of it in and of itself, right? And that was also. Go ahead, Sensen.
It was a meme working as intended.
Yeah. The other big thing was, at the time, It was the first kind of Heelys for Feelies was different. It was you take two ships into a station, you start healing each other, and then you let your turrets or mines or something like that start shooting at players, and the station would open fire on you. But healing beams are so incredibly overpowered, the station could never kill you. So they kind of set up some things like this to exploit that, to force Frontier to do something about it and fix it, which what everybody wanted was healing beams balanced so that they're usable, because again, that's a module that's banned in consensual PvP because you cannot damage through it. It's so powerful. And so what they did instead was made station weapons do phasing damage, or do cascade damage to your shield generator, so it only takes a few shots for your shield generator to go out and then you can't be healed. So instead of actually fixing it with real balance, they just made the stations OP again. So heal beams are still just, and concordant for that matter too, are just way overdone. So just quickly, Julian, we do agree that I'll stay with HFR Corp and do what I was doing. Is that right?
I would say, to be safe, shoot at HFR Corp.
All right, you got it. I'll pick Brotherhead.
Just to be
No
safe,
problem.
because I'm like paranoid as all hell.
That's totally fine. Your call. I don't care at all.
Thank you.
So, quick question. So this Commander McCoy, you represent the Dark Brotherhood?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Have you had any contact with HRF? Because they're on our border too, and we can't get any contact with them.
They seem to be a zombie faction. We've tried chatting to them. They're they're from a French hardware forum called hardware.fr. And sorry, I'm in a conflict zone, so it's hard to push to talk.
Oh, you're good.
But they are they don't seem to care. Like we approached them about Harpoligny and they just haven't even responded to us. So
okay, that makes my next 2 or 3 expansions settled then.
Yeah, like they haven't even said anything back to us. We're like, we're gonna take Harpoligny, and silence.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing we've gotten out of them for the last year. Like just dead silence out of them for a year.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of BGS groups don't plan their expansions out for a full year, but I do. So.
Oh my God, we've been planning them. We were trying to get into HIP 13653, but we got into Harpoligny instead, and it's like, well, I like this system. Let's take it. All of our expansions so far have gone wrong.
And again, guys, if there's questions in chat that I'm missing, please tag me or one of the moderators. Just shout out and ask it again. Or if you'd like, come join us in Discord. Pasto, if you get a chance, or Jaffo, if you guys can post in the Discord invite. I don't know if you have recently. I haven't seen it go by.
Yeah, just think.
And as always, thank you guys for the help. Oh, of course.
I'm sorry to be an inconvenience.
Yeah, not even remotely an inconvenience. Seriously, don't sweat it. Last thing I want to do is just me demonstrate something, screwing with what you guys are trying to accomplish. I completely get it.
He's being a lot nicer to you about it than he was to me earlier when I told him. I warned you. I warned you.
Hey, I didn't argue with you, did I?
Well, you were very dismissive. But that's
okay. Well, I'm just dismissive of you in general because you're an idiot, right? But that's a different topic, right?
Exegius?
Yeah.
Always wanting to do the right thing. He does.
Are we doing CQC tonight after the stream?
Probably, yeah, as long as it doesn't get too crazy late. But yeah, almost certainly. So yeah, for those that haven't done CQC, you are missing out. CQC is fucking great, especially now that they added the new queue for matchmaking right here in game. So you can actually, you know what? I won't actually take it, but let's do that. So I'll say team deathmatch, and now watch. Here in a minute, it should pop up and say that there's a match available. And I'll just
especially go back to that VR question. I think CQC and VR is phenomenal.
Incredible.
It's such an awesome.
Incredible.
It's got that nice arcade. It's got that arena feel to it. It's a fast pace. I think it's great in VR.
Oh, it's
the
great.
Little fighters and everything.
And again, here in a second, if you wouldn't mind, Jaffo, when you get a chance again, if you would paste in the maybe the build links for the 4 builds. I love that the
I'll have to
NPCs are
find it,
using
yeah.
corrosive. It should be in the live streaming chat channel, Jaffo.
Copy that.
All 4 links are there. I love that the NPCs are using the enzyme missiles.
Oh, they do, and it's bloody amazing, isn't it?
I think they just look cool. Like there's an enzyme missile inbound, right? He missed, right? Missed again. For those that don't know, that's essentially a Thargoid-derived missile that does, it adds corrosive to your hull that slowly melts you. Now, the Thargoid version of it melts you until you die or clean it off. The human variant that you can unlock, and I do have a video explaining how to unlock it, doesn't. It only lasts for a few seconds, so it's not that effective for human combat.
I will add a small side note on that one. It does stack twice on its buff of damage.
Sure.
But when target shields are down, it will apply the caustic buff. Otherwise, it's pretty much useless as a dumbfire missile.
Yeah, and you've got to hit the hull, and it is a dumbfire missile, and there's almost certainly another weapon I would choose rather than it. Actually, here's a random question for chat and Discord. Is anybody out there using the shock cannon? The unlockable shock cannon?
I've used it, yes.
But more than not just have used it, but actually use it, have a ship where you use it regularly.
Nope. I haven't even unlocked anything.
Actually, good point with that statement. If anybody listening to me has got more than 10 hours and you haven't unlocked the Guardian frameshift drive booster, do that next. It takes about 2 hours tops, and it adds 10 light years of jump range to any ship with a Class 5 optional. Once you've unlocked it, you just buy it and outfit it. So if your jump range is 20, it's now 30. If your jump range is 60, it's now 70. Great module, relatively easy to unlock. Actually, the first time, a lot of fun to unlock, and very game-changing in terms of... Because, jumping is the great equalizer. We all have to jump. All ships have to get places. Having that module, it's a huge addition. It comes in 5 classes, 1 through 5, and it's like 6.5 light year. Was it 6, 7.5, 9, 10? I can't remember exactly, but it's from 6 on the low side to 10.5 on the high side that it adds, or maybe it's 4 on the low side.
Correct.
Actually, maybe it's 4 on the lowest. But anyway, regardless, it's great. Like, in fact, I've got one on this build right now because I was using this for piracy recently. Where is it? I think I have. I might have pulled it off for this tonight. There it is. Yep. And I've got a Class 5 on here. So my jump range because of that is 32, 33, where it would be 20 or 22. So, on the right ship, it can add a massive difference. And no during ingest, if we're saying turrets are absolutely garbage on all ships, and that's what we're proving out tonight. In fact, I'll show you the chart from earlier. As I let my ship just fly itself. Hold on a second. Oops. God damn it. Hold on. Sorry. Trying to do 2 things at once. There's the damage comparison because it is such a damage drop-off. And that chart shows what I actually earned using... The only difference between the 2 builds was turrets versus gimbals. Right, especially on the cutter where I've got a large turret on a huge hard point, which is the same damage as a medium fixed. So I'm giving up so much damage on that huge.
See, it just dawned on me the reason why some people might be stuck on the turrets with the cutter. If you build the cutter to the shield max, it doesn't matter if you don't hit the target. They can't, unless you just get swarmed, they can't hurt you.
Oh, well, it's not about dying, right? Sure, right? Yeah. I'm not even putting that in the argument, right? It's about how long it takes you to kill things, and if you're in a conflict zone or a resource extraction site for 30 minutes, you're going to kill a lot more targets and earn a lot more credits with gimbals than you are with turrets, right? Either of them, yeah. With a cutter, damn near nothing's going to kill you, and you have to want to die in a cutter.
Well, that's the thing. Is like we're looking at it from the standpoint of being the most efficient, but some people's play style, they might just literally just not care.
Well, and that's fair. And I said that at the top of the hour, right? If you are choosing them for some reason like that, great. But the notion that you have to use them, that you can't use gimbals on something like that, is bullshit, in my opinion. And that's really what I'm trying to dispel. So if you choose to do it, great. Hey, it's your game. You choose to play the way you want, right? But the statement that you have to use them is, in my opinion, absolutely a fallacy. And note, you do not have to run turrets on the Clipper either. Gimbals work just great on the Clipper. Yeah, you wouldn't run fixed on those two wide ones because of how wide it is. There's no ship in the game where turrets are better than gimbals, in my very strong opinion.
Yeah, and Wolf has a pretty good point there. It's something like take your cutter, your T9, put it all fixed guns, put your NPC pilot in there, and you take the fighter because your NPC pilot's going to have true aim.
You know, that's one of the things I thought about testing this was kind of exactly that, coming to a conflict zone and letting my NPC fly, but I just figured there was too much variability in that, and so I felt like this was a little more fair test because I can do my best to fly the same each time. And again, if you just, for whatever reason, enjoyed something over the other and you're choosing it from a gameplay perspective, great, fine. I'm not going to tell somebody how to play, how they choose to play the game. But from the standpoint of which is going to do more damage faster, kill more ships quicker, absolutely gimbals. Just missed that shot, didn't I? And if you're using turrets now, I would implore you to try gimbals. Because it's also not really even about getting good, because it's not that hard of a difference between them.
If you can fly a spaceship, you can use gimbals.
Yeah, I mean, look, watching this, does it look like I'm really having a hard time keeping my nose in front of any of the targets I've been on tonight? Right? I'm firing like shit right now, just because I'm trying to talk and read all at the same time.
Actually, that would be a good test bed. Go get a Beluga, because it's all class 2 hard points, right?
Right. Five mediums.
Yeah. So just put turrets on that and see.
So then you have 5 ones. You have 5 class 1 weapons, basically.
Yeah. And then do the difference between gimbal and turret on that thing.
I've got enough. I think I've got enough turrets. No, I'd have to engineer a few more because I think I've only got 2 medium. Is that right? Yeah, I've only got 2 medium multi-cannon turrets right now, and I do not want to engineer more turrets. It's so painful.
Yeah, what a waste.
Yes, exactly.
And Exegius?
Yep.
Also a note from another commander friend of mine. Packhounds, when in multi-crew with gunner roll, they actually do act as a turret with 360-degree fire view.
Uh-huh. So do Seekers, if I'm remembering right.
Yes, and it's even more fun with packhounds because no player, even an NPC interdicting you, is going to be expecting that little surprise.
Oh.
You just turn around and unload the packhounds on them. That's
you don't have to turn around. That's what he's saying. You don't have to turn around.
Yeah.
You just.
Well, once we played around with a Clipper, since it's so fast, Pelly and I did this with long-range pulse laser turrets, so that you could kind of fuck with people because you could run away from them and then turn around and fire backwards, right? But these aren't things I consider normal gameplay using them for primary damage, right? We're messing with people or screwing around and things like that, right?
Well, because first of all, to get that trick to work, you'd have to be able to be in crewman mode and not crash all the time.
That's true too. Given how buggy multi-crew is.
Not especially when you have to sacrifice a couple cargo X on the altar too. So that is Mix's words, not mine.
I don't know why you would be excluded from my base just because you have slow internet connection. Dringen, I'm butchering your name, buddy. I don't mean to, so forgive me.
What was?
Getting pretty low. Actually, a couple of these are pretty. Yeah, actually, the belly one, that's the one that is so hard to run empty.
I love the new conflict zone voices and stuff they added.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
they'll call
agreed.
Out, they need backup and all that. It's
Yeah,
great.
agree. Again, the sound in Elite just killing it.
Yeah, it blows me away.
Yeah, and I see that on Twitch. Man, you guys have the hardest damn names. Ozai, maybe. I think you're talking about NPC pilots and leveling up. And I forget I've been meaning to do a video on this for a long time. What the different skills are, but like as they rank up, they're able to use pit management. They're able to change fire groups. There's kind of skills that they develop as you rank them.
They're able to run away like cowards when you switch from the fighter to the main.
Well, right now, I'm curious if other people see this. There's a bug with AX with Thargoid combat where if you get in the fighter and you let your NPC pilot your ship, they will put the pedal to the metal and fly away from the fight as fast as they can until they get 30 kilometers
that happened
away.
For us.
Yep.
That happened for us every single time.
Yep.
That I haven't tested it since then, but
yep. Oh, I tested it a couple of weeks ago.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, and it did the same
Sounds
thing.
like
still.
those NPCs knows what's up.
It's hysterical. They're like, aliens, run.
Okay, we're gonna try to kill this one last target since I've literally we'll stop at the same place when we switch to the gimbals because I've literally only got the I think that's a large on the bottom, or is that a medium? Let's see if it's the large or not. It is large. Okay, at least we've got one large left. Since we've only got one gun left, but we'll see if we can kill this one last target. And Dringgeist, if I get it right at all, I don't see what difference console versus PC would make in this. The weapons do the same damage either way. Come on. Got him at 32. It's one of those typical, the last 20% takes 80% of the work. Because, yeah, the one large we have left is effectively the damage of a fixed medium. So we've got a single fixed medium and 2 rails left. I am trying to use the rails as much as I can.
Torbuck, I don't think that...
there we go. Okay.
There's not a command. There's not a command to make the NPCs target you. They can defend you, but I don't think you can make your NPC pilot, actually fire a heli at you.
At yours? No, not that no. Okay, let's head back to the carrier.
Quick question for you, X.
Huh?
And this goes back to the BGS and the way you're affecting the Dark Wheel.
Are
you turning in the bounties?
I mean, I'm selling them on my own carrier, so no.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That will affect it. Yep. So you are affecting it, positive or negative, from when you turn in bounties.
Okay, well, I'm glad we switched back. Okay, fair enough.
So you shouldn't on the carrier.
You'll want to counter
Carriers
that.
don't
It's not
affect
a big.
BGS.
It's not a big lever, but you can counter that pretty easily.
Well,
So
hold on.
everything that we did
We've got a debate
was-
here because Julian's saying it does not affect BGS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fleet,
as far as
No
I'm
doubt.
aware, if you transact on a carrier, it doesn't affect the BGS at all.
no, but yeah,
I mean-
fleet carriers are completely isolated. They said that as soon as they launched the fleet carrier update, they said fleet carriers are going to be isolated. You can't do nothing you can do on a fleet carrier can adjust.
You're correct about the fleet carriers, but anytime you sell bounty that you collect from a conflict zone, it goes toward the daily lever that's pulled toward that. So it will affect the overall daily win. Now, what Jaffa was saying earlier and about the conflict zone wins and losses, the mediums and that's more powerful. But when you sell bounties, it does affect.
Well, you
and
mean
it does
combat
count.
bonds? Let's clarify.
Combat bound, sorry, yeah.
Okay,
It's
just
a combat
clarifying.
bound to count. Yeah, that pulls a lever. It's all different. Think of them as levers and different ways to affect it. So it doesn't matter where you sell those combat bound. You could fly 10 million light years away to another galaxy. If you turn in those combat bonds, it does count for the day of that battle.
Before the war is over, turn them in before
Yeah.
the war is over.
Okay, that's interesting because the way we've been doing it, we've got our carriers sat right next to the conflict zone, but we've been flying to the ground base and handing them in there to make sure because there's still like
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can turn them in anywhere. When as
We,
soon as
we've been
you
doing the
sell those
same. We've been
combat
turning them to the base. So, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you anytime
This
you
is
sell a
X's
combat-
stream, not
a
BGS
combat
stream.
bond
That's
or
great.
a bounty, it counts no matter where you sell it. And it doesn't
Okay.
count. Like if you take combat, let's say you do bounty hunting and you go to a whole nother system and turn in the bounties there, it doesn't count in that system. It just counts for where you did the bounties. That's why it's called a remote access. Whatever
Okay.
interstellar factors.
Well, the
So
redemption
when you
officer.
sell it- Yeah, the redemption officer on your carrier. But anytime you sell bounty or bonds, it counts for that conflict or for that systems situation. But it's a smaller amount than what you'll see. So unless Exegius killed like 100,000 enemies, it
Right.
probably won't make a big difference overall, anyways.
checking our BGS channel, we've done 7 high intensity conflict zones and 2 lows today, and handed in separate sets of bonds. So I think we should be all right.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
like,
bet you're going to win the day.
it's the last day. Like we lost yesterday, we did the same amount. So like, I'm paranoid that someone else is in system who doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, if you did that amount and you didn't win, then yeah, absolutely. But it does come down. So, the great situation here between transactional or the number of wins, it looks like it works both. So, yeah. And the hard part here, guys, is it's really hard to test it. And first of all, you're waiting for the tick and, for the end of the day to happen. And then those things are on a delay. And unless you are creating a very highly detailed spreadsheet, like I think Sanson has a pretty cool spreadsheet that tracks everything. But
we do it all by hand.
Yeah. So we've been doing it for a couple of years at level 11, and it becomes quite frustrating at times, especially when the patches happen and change things too. Or sometimes things won't count.
This is
and,
Exegius' stream, not BGS stream, right?
Fine.
Yeah.
No, totally fine.
Oh yeah, sorry, we're getting carried
Not a
away.
problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all.
You can start talking for hours about
I'll
it
interrupt
too,
you. You guys know I'll interrupt when I need to.
But
Adam,
anyway,
I'm flying the cutter right now, Adam. I was earlier flying the Type 9, the Type 10. The cutter is one of the unlockable ships, the last rank of Imperial rank. And personally, I actually hate this ship. I'm just using it to demonstrate stuff tonight. I usually fly medium and small class ships. Medium, or really small class, being my favorite. But you're definitely, I hope nobody's going to argue that you're not going to use turrets on a medium or a small class. Jesus, please not a small class. So again, I am fighting for Brotherhood, killing HFR, right?
Yes, just to be safe.
Yep, done. So now we're using gimbals. We're on the same weapons as before. All long range grade 5 multi cannons. All incendiary, or 3 of them incendiary, 1 emissive, which basically acts like chaff, and 1 corrosive, which when that hits hull adds a debuff to the hull. So the same we were running before. And then the 2 rails are also long range, both with feedback cascade, which cancels out cell banks. For those on YouTube, if you scroll up a bit, we posted the build links up a couple minutes ago. And by we, I mean Jaffo did for me.
I heard my name. I wasn't paying attention. What?
No, I'm just saying you posted the build links here a second ago.
Yeah, do they need? I'll do it again.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, I jumped in on that other because I know you're a big fan of BGS, right?
Well, I'm certainly happy to talk about it, right? Yeah.
Welcome to Harpoligny, where BGS is crazy.
Well, and, it's funny, like with our BGS stuff, I just never get a chance to actually contribute to it. Just, because oddly, as odd as it might sound, I actually kind of don't play the game that much. I'm usually, if I'm playing, I'm doing something as an excuse to do something. Like Sanson and I spent, 3 hours the other night testing lasers for a video that's coming soon.
Like that. Yeah.
In fact, I genuinely look forward to when we do CQC at the end of a stream, because I get to play. So for those, when as soon as we're finished with this, essentially, so call it 20 minutes or so, we'll be doing CQC. So I hope you'll come join us if you've not played CQC before. It's that really fun thing called Arena at the start menu that you've probably never clicked on, and the only negative to it is trying to find a match, and since we'll bring enough, we'll definitely have enough for a match. It is absolutely fantastic.
I love CQC.
Oh, it's great.
That's why everybody wants me as their fighter pilot, because I did it before it was cool.
You don't need, if you've never played it before, it's, God damn it, if this guy jumps again, these fucking NPCs. I think I stopped him. Haha. Probably wouldn't be able to stop him with the turrets. It's so nice having that huge, I love the huge multi-cannon. Oh, you asshole. Wait, did he get out or did I get him? I couldn't tell. I saw an explosion, but then I also saw the jump animation.
It does that sometimes. You still killed them. It still counts.
Okay, good. You fight him for that long, and then they jump right at the end. It's so annoying. Well, the independent captain won't jump away, will he?
Always go for them first, or they will run.
Again, chat, if there's questions that I'm missing, I'm trying to pay attention to, I've got the game in the middle, I've got Twitch over to my left and YouTube over to my right, so, and Discord on my bottom right monitor, so it's a little hard to not miss stuff.
Something about a Type 9 FSD charging, but hating the FSD reset interrupt mechanic. I was just somebody complaining about that. Yeah, victim of the ground bomb, right.
The Grom Bomb is the FSD interrupt missile. You get it from the power play Yuri Grom, so we call it the Grom Bomb. And that's the one that knocks your FSD offline and then it reboots. So it can take you, can stop you from jumping, and then, like, this guy's going to jump out again. Asshole. God damn it. See, that sucks because I didn't get credit for that kill. And wasted a bunch of ammo on him.
Does fast boot sequence affect Grom bombs any?
Yes, it does actually. That's the only thing that does, because what it does is it makes your FSD reboot, and so the faster you reboot, the faster you're back online. It's a pretty big sacrifice because you obviously can't do that with any kind of range boost, right?
Well, I guess that's what those Guardian modules are for, aren't they?
Sure, sure. Fast boot would be good on a trade ship, for example. If you're worried about getting pirated and getting attacked and you want to make sure you can escape. The way I kind of look at it is you can do that, but I think running, proper shields, proper hull defenses and stuff like that is the better way to keep yourself alive. Like I did a Type 9 video, and the Type 9 build that I run has got enough shield strength and still has 750 tons of cargo space that in the probably 30 times it's been ganked, it's died once. And then the real key to surviving something like that is just knowing how to handle an interdiction and handle that. I have another video called Surviving Open, a beginner's guide, that covers exactly what to do if you are interdicted specifically by a human. The short answer is you always submit. You don't fight a human interdiction. Because if you lose it, and you're almost certainly going to, your cooldown is then, it's 43 seconds or so before you can jump. And if you give somebody 40 seconds to shoot at you, you're not going to survive it. Where if you submit, you can get jumped in as quick as 16 seconds. And that you've got a pretty good chance of surviving.
Including a Type 9.
Well, with a built-out T9, I mean, people like me who fly like 100 kph ships and no shields and.
Yeah, this one sucks. I get that one anaconda. I haven't seen a single python this time either. Watch this last one get skewed because the ship spawns have been so shitty. Honestly, that's why I did this before the stream, because I wanted to make sure I had two sets of data, if anything, to average together. And really, you'd have to do this, several times and average it all across to get really scientific data. But I don't think anybody would argue that throughout the stream tonight I've had any problem whatsoever maintaining time on target.
You fly very well.
Well, it's not. In some ways, I don't even necessarily think it's about that. Like it's just. I think with the main trick, or the main key to getting good at something like this is pit management. That's, in my opinion, that's the biggest thing. Making sure that you're never running. And a couple times I've forgotten because I've been chatting and stuff. But never letting your distributors run dry, right? Being very active about where you're placing stuff. That is very, very critical.
Now, Exeges, is it running dry or running below half? Because I remember we had that conversation the other night.
Well, if you run below half, you start to, and you don't have pips in it, you start to the weapon will start generating a lot more heat, right? But ultimately, in a big way, with weapons, with both, as long as you don't run. With weapons, it's as long as you don't run dry. With engines, it's probably more about half and making sure you've always got enough left there to boost, right?
Yeah.
Like right now, I just boosted, so I'm going to leave it there for a moment because I've got plenty in weapons. Now I'm going to switch back to weapons. Now I'm going to boost and put it right back in engines so that not only can I boost again right after I'm done with this boost, but you turn faster when you've got 4 pips in engines. Right, so right now I'm not really actively turning, so I don't really need to worry about pips and engines. But as he comes in, I'm going to go ahead and boost now. Well, I got the ram that time. Actually, I think I did miss him. And I'm trying to pre-turn. Now I've got my capacitors full again. All right, now I boosted. I'm going to go back pips and engines to get back what I just lost. Now I'm full again. Go back to weapons. And kill him. Go for the next target.
So are you pre-turning before you hit FA off?
Well, I'm staying full FA off this time, right? But to answer the question with pre-turn, I'm trying to. Yes, you're trying to pay attention to where the target is, where they're going, how they're going to pass you, and that's the best way to try to stay in front of them. Right, with this target, I'll try to pay attention and see. Like, he's going away from me, so I put some pips and engines and boosted to keep up with him. Now he's going to fly by me on the left. Well, I boosted a little late for that one, and so I missed him. He got by me a bit. Now I'm back on him. He's banking. So I'll try to cancel that. Done. And now he's facing at me. All right, now he's coming at me, so I'm going to go into engines. I'm using my lateral thrusters, boosting and lateral turn as he comes by. I was a little bit late with it, so wait, and now back on target. And now he's faced away from me, so he's faster than I am, so pips and engines boost, catch up to him again. Yep, now he's not. Now I'm back chasing him. Whoops. Something's been weird with my stick lately. Like if you noticed just a second ago, it unlocked target and flight assist turned back on. I think I don't know what's going on, but every now and then that's been happening with my stick lately.
Would you say in the last week or two, maybe 3?
No, it's been longer than that.
Okay, because like I said, I'm still convinced. That update that Windows pushed out a couple weeks ago. I'm still convinced it messed something with USB controllers, because the mouse is still giving issues. I'm still having issues with my gamepad and stuff. Like, there's something weird with. And
my USB mouse has been giving me issues the past few weeks as well.
Yeah, Windows pushed an update about that time, and it's been giving me fits. And I have cycled the computer. I've unplugged all my USBs and plugged them back up, and I don't know what's going on.
Same here. Keyboard issues as well.
Yeah, I think Windows borked something on the last update.
That's where the LTSC comes in handy.
How far are we from the center? Let's get back in toward the center a bit. Give me somebody big to shoot at. Keep seeing, I see a python, and it's on my side. There's one.
That sentence is the story of my life these past few days. Where's something big to shoot at?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And just, I'll give my 2 cents tip on conflict zones. If you do want to run highs solo for your BGS, for anybody, if you're just doing it for mat grinding, or if you're doing it for your rank, if you want to try to run them solo, stay to the periphery, because the NPCs do tend to stay to the center, and if you stay to the periphery, you can snag a straggler and stuff like that. The only time that doesn't work is if they send in the spec ops, and if you aggro one of the spec ops, you're gonna get all 4 of them. And those spec ops will run Scramble Spectrum. They will run.
They run phasing beams for some reason.
Yeah, phasing beams. The
phasing
spec
beams.
ops are
Seriously, phasing beams don't exist.
The asps will run phasing beams.
So they get phasing beams even though we don't, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. The spec ops are no joke. If you go in solo into a high and you aggro those 4, because like I said, it doesn't matter which one of you aggro. If you aggro one of the 4, you're going to aggro all of them. And if they dogpile you, they
they do hurt. And I'm in like a 6K megajoule prismatic cutter. Not cutter, Corvette, sorry. I regularly solo the high CZs, and the spec ops are no joke.
And now, that's the 3rd time I hit the pip macro and it didn't execute it. I don't know what's going on there.
Of course, low combat zones work real good if you're doing the kill the number of ship missions, right?
Yep. Yeah, and so like for my guys, when we're running our BGS, if they want to run CZs, because like we're 99% of the time we're not contested. So they just run one low every day and we win. You don't have to run, they just run it solo in a low and then we're done with it.
I'm paranoid. I tell everybody, okay, do as many as you can today, please, everyone.
Madden
Well,
Boy,
you're-
I'm curious. I'm missing a little bit of the chat. So he said, "Love this game, but that experience seriously pisses me off. I think if you only come down to the person attacking you as an SDPS to kill you before you can jump away, nothing else." I'm curious what the underlying.
He's
comment
talking
for
about
that
getting
was.
away in a Type 9 when commanders have the FSD gets knocked off.
Oh, the Grom bomb.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's
Right. I sent a video. I sent a link of a video
very
of me
important
getting
weapon
away.
for piracy,
Right.
things like that. Yeah, there's places where it's actually pretty critical. So man, thanks for the poop, buddy.
Oh, I just now realized. Boop. I always watch you on YouTube. I've never actually caught you on Twitch, so I didn't give you the follow. So it's like,
well,
I think I'm going to put a follow in as well now. You've earned it.
Well, thank you.
I mean, you're a polite person and you're making good content. Why wouldn't I follow you?
And I never ever actually asked for. I did ask in the graphic video because that one was so goddamn much work. All right, getting pretty close to being done. Come here, baby. There we go.
well, I think I already told you that your graphical setting video, it did wonders for me. So yeah, I threw a like on that thing and I shared it up in the squadron, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that one was a lot of work, but it was also fun to do, right? I'd wanted to work all that out for the longest time. Okay, let's go after that guy.
Longest one to date, right?
Oh, by a large margin. Like, I think my next is like 8.5 minutes, and that one's 25, so it's like almost 3 times longer than anything
Right.
before. So again, after this, which we'll finish up in the next, call it 10 minutes, we will go do some CQC.
Sounds like a plan, Stan. I can't wait.
Good. I'm glad
I'd
you're
love
still
to
around.
join, 'cause I really like CQC, but I've been trying to install Elite Dangerous this entire stream.
You still
And
have?
that's,
Did you get the updated launcher?
So I got the updated launcher. It still kept failing, so I uninstalled it altogether, went to Steam, installed the Steam version, but then it wouldn't log me in and wanted to link my account back to Steam. So I thought, okay. Then I tried, and so then it wouldn't work with Oculus Rift for whatever reason. So then I said, okay, well, forget the Steam version. Let me try go back and just install clean. So I did a clean install just using the newest version of the launcher. And right now it's stuck with 2 hours left at 0.7 megabytes.
So wait,
It
you
says 2
did
hours.
get an updated launcher installed?
Yes. Yeah.
But you had to re-download the whole game?
Well, it still gave me the error with the new launcher. So I uninstalled altogether and then went into Steam and installed from Steam. Right? So when you install from
Gotcha.
Steam, but then it wanted to link my account back to Steam.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Part of the problem that I had with Steam as well is that it didn't want to launch it. It launched into VR. I had trouble with the headset, because you have to use Steam VR and everything else. Which I probably could, if I have to, just go to Steam, link the account, and launch it from Steam. But I want it to work from the launcher. It makes it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
Hey, my alt are not on Steam anyway. Like my alt accounts are not bought through Steam. I don't even know if you can link them to Steam if you launch it that way. I'm not sure actually. Maybe because you can still use the launcher even
Right,
if you
but I
install it
think
from
if you
Steam.
launch if you launch the launcher through Steam, I think the logout machine. I don't think you can do the logout thing.
Yeah.
Like I was trying that when I was playing around with GeForce Now, and I couldn't do it on GeForce Now. And that's essentially through Steam. And I haven't played through Steam for a long time, so that was kind of my only experience with Steam in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to avoid going back to Steam if I could. So I thought, okay, well, let me uninstall everything again. And like I said, it's been going through for the last 20 minutes now, and it's stuck with 2 hours remaining on the progress bar saying 0.07 megabytes left.
I asked this at the top. Anybody else out there having trouble with getting the update today? I'm curious if anybody else has had problems.
I haven't even logged in.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I brought it up here, guys. Just if anyone's out there that knows, or because I looked at the forums and I'm not finding anything.
I mean, are you finding other people with the problem, or?
No, not mine. There was one where you have to log out machine, like Cement had said earlier, and that's if you get an authentication error. But yeah, I posted a screenshot of the error in live stream chat if anybody's in Discord and wants to look at it. But now I'm not getting that error. What's happening is it's just frozen. It's like it's stuck at the install, like a fresh install from just the launcher, right?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Well, we're going to kill this one last guy, and then we'll call it. We got 4 rails. Still got 300 odd rounds in my huge, so.
Well, I've still got the borked launcher, but it did launch, and let me see if it gets me in the game.
I'm also used to using rapid on the huge multi-cannon. I think this is the first time I've ever done a long-range huge.
The syncing file, it just updated to 0 megabytes remaining, 0.00 megabytes per second, right? 2 days, though, left in mine. I just have to wait for 2 days, guys.
Sweet. We'll probably be doing CQC in a couple days.
I love the timers like that when they say like ridiculous amounts of time. Like,
well, depending on your ISP, I mean, sometimes I don't trust my Comcast. You know, they'll throttle you.
So there was, by the way, that was a pretty decent. I didn't get it all the way across, but attempt at pre-turning with the target. So right now he's going to come by me on the right. I've got my left lateral thrusters in. I'm going to go ahead and try to do it. He got a little close to me, so I couldn't keep it pre-turned the whole time.
And before Jeff,
trying to glide with. There we go. That time. There you go. That's a good pre-turn. Right. So I was able to keep my nose on him the entire time.
And Jeffo, don't yell at me, but I'm just going to make sure everybody gets the correction. Aposto is right. The last time I checked the BGS back in April-May timeframe, everybody assumed that the bounties did not count. But as of end of June, 1st of July, it was confirmed that the player faction bounties and combat bonds count when turned into the FF fleet carrier. So,
that's a good one to know. Thank you.
It is a very good one to know. Yeah.
And thank you, Samson, for backing me up.
It's so rare that happens. I mean, Aposto's never exactly right. I'm like, this is freaking me out, man.
If we kept a tabulation of how many times X was wrong and I was right,
yeah,
it's so rare that happens.
It's so rare, like every single time. I digress.
Oh, I'm sick of this fucking Crusader.
This is your stream as to what Jaffa was saying earlier.
There we go. I'm officially out of ammo. Should we try to ram this guy to death?
Yes.
I'm gonna give it a minute. Let's see if we can ram him.
I don't know though. What are you in? Are you in the cutter still?
I'm in the cutter.
Dude, ram. It's a ramathon time.
Hey, so someone says turn off multi-threaded download and options will make it worse. Basically had both happen to them.
Okay. Hey, something to try.
That's interesting. Okay, where do I turn off multi-threaded downloads? Where did I see that?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able on the client.
I don't think I'm going to be able to ram this guy.
Yeah, I see it.
Are really hard, and the Crusaders are really hard to ram. They always go above you.
I mean, I'm trying to just missed him.
Well, that's
I'm
the
going
thing
to give
about
it to it's 2:17:30 in game. I'm going to give it to 2:18. So 20 more seconds, like 2 more passes.
So that's the thing about all the chieftain variants is that they're just so squirrely.
Okay,
Like
we're done. Okay, and so then what we'll do is I'm going to add, because I've been writing these down. Well, I'm going to average these across everything.
Okay, I did get the network error. Possible network failure again. All right, I'm going to turn off multi-threaded now, though. You have to.
Crazy question: are you running a VPN?
No, I'm not.
Because I know the elite. I know the elite servers do not play well with VPNs.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And I don't, but I should run a VPN actually. But I use a lot of my router and firewall stuff.
I don't run any of that stuff because my thinking on it is where I'm at in life. If somebody identity thefts me, all they can do is make my life better.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if you're going to take that much time to investigate me. I guess. Go ahead.
It's like,
hey, actually, you know more about this than I do. Maybe you want to touch base on the less popular, but it does work, fast boot up sequence mod for the FSD.
Oh, yeah, we actually talked about that a little bit earlier, which is essentially if you get, it can be a good one for, say, an open, safe ship where you're worried about getting grommed, and NPCs are never going to use the FSDs to disrupt only players. If you're worried about that and you want to be maximum defensive, I think the reboot time is like 3 seconds versus 10. I'd have to look it up, so don't quote me on that.
It does make a difference. So, like, if I'm running cargo in a cutter, I will use the faster boot. Just so that when I get interdicted, I can run away faster.
Right, because if you get grommed or anything, right,
Yeah.
anything, it's going to boot faster, right?
Yeah, and it does make enough of a difference usually, especially when you're in a big ship like that. You can tank enough to get your FSD as long as they don't shoot your FSD out.
Whoops.
But even that's better too, right?
So let me do the average across all of
back
these.
and stay in 2 seconds.
Okay,
and while you're doing math, and if anybody wants to know the lore, if anybody wants to know the lore with those Grom bombs, what they are is basically a player downgrade of the Stonewall effect that the is it ATR or ART? ATR.
ATR.
Yeah, the ATR can put on you if you run a bounty up too high. So if you actually trigger the NPC police, the real NPC police, not the system police.
Oh yeah.
They will
Yeah,
actually,
right.
if they get a successful interdiction on you, you can't jump out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when you really have to have that speed to get away. Also, they shoot you to hell fast.
No, we had a guy in my squadron, and he got the bounties doing power play. Ended up with he was well into the hundreds of millions, and he killed the ATR for like 2 weeks. Ended up with like a $3,000 or $4,000 billion bounty, and I was like, "Why, just die and clear it." I was like, "Just stop." It's like you don't have to keep killing the cops every time they show up.
Well, that's kind of cool, actually. I've never heard of someone actually doing that. That's cool.
Yeah, because the ATR count, their bounty count is even higher than the regular NPC. So if you want to like set a bounty record, that's how you do it. You just farm those freaking ATR guys.
Okay, so here's the final numbers across all 4 of the sessions that I did, and this is just in dollars or in credits, dollars. So I earned with the turreted setups 724,000, and it's amazing how tiny this combat pay needs to get buffed so much. 724,000 for turrets and 1.32 million for Gimbal, which is a 1.83 times more. So it's almost twice the credits that I made with the Gimbal builds over the turreted builds.
Yep.
So there's some more data to it. And now I hope to never fucking use turrets again. I certainly hope to never engineer them again.
Well, the YouTube video hasn't been up for a full day yet, so wait for the comments.
Oh, sure. It won't matter, right? You know, people ignore comments like, hey, you know, if it's your jam, great. You do you, right? But the notion that you can't use gimbals on large class ships, or you have to use turrets or something like that, or you can't keep time on target, right? It's absolutely not true, right? So why don't we go play, have some fun, and do some CQC? So guys watching
rub it in.
on, yeah, dude, I mean, like, wait, you just made that single thread thing. Is that making any difference?
I'm trying it, but now I just get that network error faster. So hold on. I just killed the launcher and I'm relaunching it now.
Or for those that don't have piece of shit computers.
Exactly.
Why don't totally right? Let's go to some CQC. I'll play the first match in CQC, just not in VR, but then I'm gonna stop the stream so I can jump into VR, right? And so let's jump into. If anybody watching wants to come join us, by all means, please do. If you can join us in Discord, great. If you can't do voice, you know, no problem. You're still welcome to. So if you're going to join us and you're not in voice chat, please shout out in the live streaming voice channel. If you're going to join for CQC and you're in voice right now, do me a favor and head up to lobby just so we can get a head count. There's 3, 4, 5. Me makes 6. Anybody else in voice gonna join?
I really want to, man.
Well, get your shit going. And
I want to too, but I've got real life I've got to take care of.
No, if I wasn't
It's
stuck
almost
at work.
bedtime. It's almost 4 a.m.
Yeah, no, fair enough, right? I mean, it's
running a potato on a T1 satellite line, so.
All right, well, we've certainly got enough, so let's do this. Let me tell the guys to come back down. Okay, guys, come on back down.
We're going back down.
Yeah, come on back down. Okay,
right.
So let's show how CQC works. So we exit to main menu. We go continue. We go to arena. You guys want to just start with deathmatch or team deathmatch?
Team deathmatch, I think.
Okay.
Teamwork. As long as I'm getting done.
So everybody get to the CQC screen. Have your cursor on team deathmatch, and to give us the best best chance of all instancing together, we'll all click search at the same time.
Exegious?
Yeah.
Okay, to add a small side note.
Yeah.
For like, if you or anyone wants to see a vista of the NGC 6337 Nebula after the run in CQC, please let me know.
I tell you what, toss a screenshot in the live streaming channel, and I'll at least throw the screenshot up on screen.
It depends on which one you want. I've released 37 in the past 2 days.
Let me just give me your best one in the live streaming text channel.
It's in there.
Oh, in the live streaming channel?
I believe, yeah.
I'm not seeing anything.
No,
live stream.
I'll go and I'll add it. Give me a second.
Yeah, actually, there's something I just saw. Madnagi. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. He said, I was interdicted. I submitted when I realized I wasn't winning, so I figure I can have a 10-second cooldown and jump out. Well, a lot of times you can wait too long to submit, and even if you submit, you're going to get the long cooldown. So my advice, the advice I give in the flying in open video is, if you get interdicted, target your attacker, and if you see that it's a human, throttle down. I have probably gone through 1,000 interdictions. I have lost one.
This wasn't a player. He was in solo.
Oh, okay, fair enough, right? But if you're going against a human, you want to submit. And so there we go, guys. Let me put that in full screen mode. So that's the view from Oh, I've been in one of these
And
before.
GC
Yeah, this purple looks.
6337.
Yeah, this purple looks familiar. I've seen a system like this before.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
From what NASA's predicting, this nebula is going to be going through a paradigm blue shift and probably going nova within the next 300 years.
What is
So
it? They
we-
think
so
that
we-
Beetlejuice might nova in the next 1,000, something like that. God, that'd
Probably
be
2000
amazing.
at
That'd be
tops.
amazing to see in
would
our
be cool,
lifetimes.
right? To be able to see it
Oh,
because it would be visible for us.
yeah, for like
We would
3.
see
They
it.
say for 3 months it would be almost 24-hour bright. I mean, almost be as bright as the sun as a full moon.
Yeah.
Like round the clock. That would be amazing to happen in our life. I tell you, the thing
I
I want to
also
happen in our
have
lifetime,
images of
I want us,
Beetlejuice, too.
I want us to find, and I don't care if it's a fucking microbe on Mars, I want us to find life on another planet before I die. That's the one thing I want to see happen before I die. I'm not expecting intelligent life. That's ridiculous, but I want unequivocal proof that there is a microbe on Mars or Titan or wherever it is.
The government you missed the story. Like no one's paying attention right now.
Well, I know there's
lights on the moon, dude. They got
yeah, of
lights on the
course.
moon.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's the aliens that are watching us, right?
Yes.
So that's different,
Sure.
right?
Well, dude,
Guys, you realize that they did admit that there have been captured craft not of this earth.
Oh, I want proof. I don't want conspiracy theory bullshit. I want
The
absolute
government
proof.
came out and said it.
I
That's
want to
what they
see it with my own eyes.
Just recently said it. Did you miss the article? I gotta find that for you. It's awesome. The government is saying not of this earth. Use those words.
I want
Yeah.
I want to see the evidence of that and how they determine that because hey, if that's true,
I want to see the
fantastic,
Show me
right?
the evidence.
Gravitic drives that are impossible for anything that we currently have technology-wise.
Again, I don't want to see a story. I
Okay.
want to see scientific consensus. Let me put it that way.
Delivered to your door.
Will you take military
FBI
video?
Show up.
No.
No.
Okay, so let's get ready for CQC. So is anybody not ready to click Team Deathmatch? Excellent. I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, and we're going to click. 3, 2, 1, click. Let's see how good or bad we get instanced here.
And I really do understand FDev's reasoning about by not letting us pick our matches because they didn't want people to spam it and climb the ranks and all that. But at some level, I mean, really,
Right.
at least be able to join as wings, you know.
I just want multi-crew and wings to be able to mix so that we can fucking use multi-crew. And I get that you don't want a wing of 4 ships that are like 4 corvettes that then have 2 multi-crew pilots each, but just limit it to 4 commanders where if you've got 3 people in a wing and then one of those people has a crew mate and you've got 4 that way, right? Great. Limit it that way. Hey, there we go. So we've got 5 so far. Is anybody not, we got 28. We still got a good countdown before this match begins. Is anybody not in the CQC instance with us that's trying? Good.
I'm trying. I'm
Oh,
still
looks
installing.
Well, you're not trying.
You're not trying hard enough.
Damn it! I wanted to play.
Donkey tried from in-game, and
I can't believe I've
it
been
didn't.
struggling to install Elite Dangerous for this entire stream. How long is the stream?
Where did I just see it? 2 hours. 2 hours, 34 minutes, 23 seconds. We're
Okay,
almost to
and
2, 3. Hold on.
I
We're almost to
started-
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in about 30
Wow,
seconds.
this started for me 45 minutes before you started your stream too. So like I can't believe I haven't rage quit already.
Oh, how I hate CQC not in
Welcome to the world of dial-up.
So for those that have not played CQC, we're playing Deathmatch. You'll notice that you cannot next and previous target. You can only target visually when somebody's right in front of you or close to it like that. You'll see that there's power-ups around the map. A minute ago, I went and got what we call the cheese and got double damage. There's double damage. There's a shield boost. There's stealth, which is kind of like silent running, and there's speed surge, with speed surge being a like it lasts for 2 seconds. by
just gives
far
you
the
like
most
one
worthless.
FDL boost.
Oh,
and
it's
you're done.
it's awful. Hey,
One
Lego.
FDL boost is still good though. What's up?
You know what I usually use it for? I slam my I go through it with my thrusters at full reverse and just go through it and right back out. So if somebody's chasing me,
Right, yeah. I
right,
think
you
Dean
just
Trezor
slingshot through
came
it.
up with that one.
Oh, okay. So for example, this map only has the double damage, which is right there. Again, with I talked earlier a lot about pit management. It could not be more critical in CQC because you've got such a little tiny distributor. So really being active with it in CQC, really, really critical.
Is he getting jerky for everybody else, or is it just me?
He's okay.
Voice or
I
stream
would
or
I,
video?
I would join you, but my back still hurts from carrying you all last time.
It's your stream. We got
I
a
thought your
second
back
one.
hurts from you bending over sucking your own dick so hard.
Oh,
No, I can't do that. I'm not flexible enough. I wish I'd screenshotted those matches. It was ridiculous.
Why does it only feel like there's 4 of us in this tournament right now? Just a little bit curious.
How many do we have? It's 2 on 3, so it's not exactly fair.
Well, gentlemen,
Yeah,
it's been fun. Have a good night.
Everybody's
Thanks for
complaining
stopping by,
about the
man.
frame rate. X, I guess it changed
Oh
when
wow,
you
it
went
did.
to CQC.
Yeah, it locked.
Oh,
it
it
locked
sure
to
did,
1080.
didn't it?
It locked to 1080p.
Well, shit, that's the first
Or
time I
1080.
died. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I'll jump out and come back in because I see that it went to shit again. So did it go back to? I still locked at 60.
It when you went to CQC, I think.
No, I mean, yeah, but I'm still locked to 60 frames a second, so I don't get. God damn it.
I mean, I don't know. I just guessing, but yeah.
I tell you what, hold on. Let me see if I just set it to 1080p. Let's see if that helps at all. All right, I think that's fixed it. Forgive me, guys. Tell if you guys shout out, let me know if that did not help. Looking over my shoulder at Streamlabs, it looks like it's better again.
Oh yeah, that looks better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good on both.
Yep.
From my end, anyhow.
I hate how Twitch will switch you midstream on what you're streaming. Because like I've seen it before where like people will like start the stream at 720 and then like halfway through they'll jump to 1080 whenever their numbers get high enough or whatever. That's what happened to you because like you don't even have the option. You don't even have the option to.
Oh, come on.
Lower the.
Sorry. Oh, hey, you've got 3 now.
Boring.
Okay, it's 3 on 3 now at least.
This is pretty unbalanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Well, like after this match, I'm gonna jump out of. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna end the stream so I can jump into VR. So you guys should just be ganging up on me anyway. Give me the gangbang.
I was gonna ask, has anyone ever put bounties on you in game?
No, not really. Like I tend to be pretty lucky with not having people fuck around with me.
I've used that as an excuse for ganking people a few times. I'll kill them and they'll be like, "Why the fuck did you kill me?" And I'll be like, "You have a bounty on you, Commander. I'm here to collect." And they'll be like, "Who has a bounty on me? Why would I?" And I'm like, "It's anonymous, dude. Not my place to ask. I'm just here for the money."
I'm just a Mandalorian that got hired.
Damn, that's pretty good.
It's hilarious.
The Eagle. Not necessarily the best choice for a beginner. Oh, go. Oh, there we go. I think that's only the second time, maybe third time I died. What's the score? 10-4. What did we go to? 25? I don't know that I'm gonna make it to 25. Yeah, and we talked about VR a lot earlier.
Fuck
This
you,
is
stealing
one
my
of the
kill.
places.
Damn you.
This is one of the places
Damn.
where VR is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's way better. And I just got the bug. So it looks like I'm going to crash.
Ah. What do you mean by the bug?
Well, there's a visual bug that happens, and then the client crashes. So the VR gets all screwed up, and I'm not even seeing the game update.
You just chaffed.
Yeah.
But now you're about to die. Oh, how did
I'm
Cement
done.
and I get on the same team? Yeah, I would say this.
Yeah, that's what I
team.
wanted to
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I'll have to do me, Cement, and Aposto.
Well, and that's the
versus
shitty
the
thing
rest of
that
the
you
chat.
can't really set. You know.
Yeah, there should be like.
If we could get it to work, yeah.
There should
Squads
be
is the
like.
best way, but it just does not work.
No, there should be you should be able to set up games.
Completely agree. Yes.
All right, so I'm getting a new error. Exception downloading file, possible network failure. It's still a network failure error, but it's a different one now. The underlying connection was closed. An unexpected error
God damn it,
occurred
Cement.
on
Jeez.
receive.
Well, the question is it something on your machine or is it Elite? Right? Since you said you had problems with the Epic Game Store, is that right?
I had problems with the Epic Game Store earlier, but all of my speed tests work, and I was able to download and install on Steam just fine. Like, my internet connection's rocking at 4 millisecond and 900 megabits per second. Like, I don't get it. I guess I'm just gonna have to use Steam and install it from Steam.
Open a ticket with support, but that'll take a few days, obviously.
You just took the words out of my mouth. I would open a ticket with FDev.
Oh, who was chasing me? Well, to everybody that's certainly been here from the beginning and been hanging in tonight, thanks for joining. It's been fun chatting with everybody.
Yeah, I'm about to head out too, and there's only so much I can take of Mario Go-Kart in space.
Yeah, I'm sure this is a little harder to watch than other things.
Well, no, my issue with CQC, like I said, one is the matchmaking, and two is the power-ups. If they didn't have the power-ups and stuff, I would probably like it more.
Really? Okay. I like what the power-ups add to it.
Yeah, part of it is how well you can control the power-ups.
Right, and understand learning the
I think
maps
if
and
you
knowing
fight
what
the
things
really,
are.
really good people, they'll just have all of them all the time. Because they know how to get to them.
I mean,
I think it'd be cool if you could use your own ships, like in the main game.
Right, if you could just do like a private match
yeah.
with no rebuy with your real ship.
Like an arena mode with your real ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, they developed this out, originally for the Xbox, right? And consoles in mind, and then they added it PC second, so.
Did this come on console first? I thought it was PC first.
Yeah.
Yes. No, a good month.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, this was
possibly longer. I'd have to go back and look the exact
Okay,
time up.
fair
But
enough.
yeah, it was designed, per Michael Brooks, it was designed for the consoles.
This was to
I
catch
think
You know
they
they've
should-
got Ship Arena, right?
I think
It's
they
called
should give
Open?
This, I think they should give this. Yeah, I think this should be free. I think they should give this away.
Yeah, for sure. This should be a game mode.
They do, or they have for the longest
They did for a
time.
while, right? But it would be cool if there was updated maps and it added to it, and like this could be a
There you go,
successful thing on its own, standalone.
I just need to find somebody to shoot at.
Well, don't turn around. Ah, who got me? Shatter. Nice.
I think I've just come to a horrifying conclusion.
What's that?
Apparently, the obelisk data do not spawn in the same spot each time for whichever particular type.
Nope.
That is correct.
Completely random.
And by design, yep.
You gotta just scan everything.
So much for that plan.
Iron, by the way, did you crash or are you good to go?
Yeah. I crashed and then I rebooted and come back in VR, of course.
Cool.
What did he ask me questions?
And I don't.
Oh, I've got two of you on me. Yep.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, that was a little stacked. That was a little bit stacked.
Well,
yeah.
To say to everybody, you're welcome.
Iron Fist, you just need to get better so you can merc them 2v1.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out, everybody.
Have a good night.
Chef on Twitch, you're very welcome, buddy. I'm glad I saw your comment before I went, so thanks very much. And yeah, to everybody who joined tonight, thanks for all the chat. Thanks for joining. It's fun to get back in the swing of streaming regularly, and I've got several videos in the pipeline that should be coming out in the next few days. One of the big ones that to Sanson, if he's still here, helped me quite a bit with. We went through and tested all the different lasers, kind of trying to simulate all the different blueprints on all the different lasers, what time to drop shields and kill was on a target ship with Sanson being the target. What did I kill you, 60, 70 times?
Oh, I don't think it was that high.
Really, what it was X just needed to boost his KD.
Yeah, because I really care about that. And so yeah, that video will come out later in the week. A video about Odyssey is coming in the next couple days. So yeah, so again, thanks for stopping by, everybody, and I will